My name is Raph. I am playing Grinner, a barbarian human, running from his past as an ex-soldier, now turned mercenary.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared. I'm playing the character of Luther. He's a Dhampire. He is a fighter that specializes in firearms, a bit of an investigator, and I am the great uncle of Grinner.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I'm playing Tithla, the Goblin Ranger. She is a wonderful hunter and medical genius.
Hi, I'm Haz. I'm playing Theodore, the Satyr Druid, who's a kind of a charismatic druid who's unwillingly taken Tithla under his wing as she's followed him through the forest for the past few months.
G'day, I'm Tom. I'm playing Jonor, the Aasimar Wizard. He is on the pursuit of good and evil, finding out the best and worst in this world, and he's doing that with a little bit of naivety and optimism.
And I'm Owen, the Dungeon Master of our Curse of Strahd campaign. Hello!
Hello, everyone!
Hello! Welcome to the Lost Archives. My name's Owen, I'm the Dungeon Master of our Curse of Strahd campaign. Thank you for joining us, and thank you everybody for our full player house. As you can see around me and below me, we've got everyone here tonight, which is very, very exciting. We are super stoked to be jumping back into Curse of Strahd. Before we do, massive thank you to everybody who came and joined us for our Tyranny of Dragons session last week. That was our 100th episode of Tyranny of Dragons. Absolutely insane. And it is the final chapter of the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. There will probably be, depending on how the players go, between 5 and 6 more sessions, I think, plus an epilogue session where we're going to actually see what the characters do in the aftermath of the end of the campaign. Obviously, our second campaign that's leading after Tyranny of Dragons, which will be decided by the players and their actions at the end of Tyranny of Dragons. That second campaign will be actually starting off as soon as Tyranny of Dragons finishes, but we are going to do a little bit of an epilogue to set up the player characters, those who survive, that is, for what they're going to be doing in the future. The reason being, those characters are going to be in the world, even though all of our players are going to be sticking around, so it's all the same cast, and they're all going to be playing brand new characters. Their previous characters, Mira, Jin, Lockie, Yervith, and Shana, whichever one of those survives, they will be still in the world of Nostea and still in the world, just played by me from this point onwards for the new campaign. So yeah, really cool to see where they end up and what they do. I've never run an epilogue session before, so it's going to be really free-form and free-flowing. We're going to see what it's like. Obviously, we're heading into the holidays, so first off, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever version of the season's time off that you enjoy, please take away. We're going to be wrapping up probably next week, maybe not happening because that's the 26th. So this will definitely be our last session before Christmas. I just had a quick look at the calendar. So definitely this will be our last session before Christmas.
It's a lot closer to the end of the year than it feels.
Yeah. It feels like we've reached terminal velocity for like passing through the years at this point, passing through the weeks at this point. I just wasn't quite ready for how quickly that's come up. Yeah, so obviously we're not going to be around next week. I'm actually away for a little bit of January. I'm taking some time off for my birthday on the 6th. So we will be back on Monday, the 16th of January. So you'll just have to do without Curse of Strahd for a couple of weeks. But hey, that's all right. Because if you head over to YouTube or to our podcast, you can catch up on all the previous episodes of Tyranny of Dragons and Avatar Legends. Because that's right, Avatar Legends is also coming back that same week. That means there are going to be 3 campaigns every single week. Curse of Strahd on Monday, Tyranny of Dragons on Wednesday, and then Avatar Legends on Thursday. Oh my goodness, how much content can you take? That's as much content as I can physically create, so hopefully that's enough.
Where can they go on YouTube?
If they go to YouTube/The Lost Archives or YouTube at The Lost Archives, they will locate all of our previous episodes. Otherwise, if you just type it into Google, I've been assured by the SEO optimization gods that we now do appear in the top results for Google if you type in The Lost Archives D&D. So that's where you can go. Obviously, as we head into Christmas, you probably want to get your friends and family something personal, something lovely. So why not head to our merch store and get them some... Oh, and Haz is actually wearing our jumper right now. So head to the
beautiful model.
I'm actually not, which is really embarrassing for me. So head, although I do have, you can get something like this lovely mouse pad. But yeah, head onto the Lost Archives merch. It's in the chat right now. It'll be popping up a link to it, so go and check it out. Otherwise, you can just access it through the YouTube page or the podcast page. If you're looking for some cool t-shirts or some mouse pads or some drink bottles or some stickers or things like that, there's just a random assortment of stuff that I thought was really cool and you might like. And lastly, thank you to everyone who joined us for the Pokemon stream on Saturday. We caught Charizard! We did it. I've been informed that Jared, who obviously couldn't join us on the stream on Saturday on account of having not actually finished the main quest, has now finished the main quest and caught Charizard, correct?
I did.
Well done. Well done.
It was a very busy weekend, so it was literally like doing social things, but doing adult things, and then like just absolutely like smashing out Pokemon in my off time.
Yeah, no, that battle is a tough battle. We did start farming them at the end because we had such an overpowered team by the end of it. Jacob obviously was there for that as well. We had a great time just bullying Charizard. Basically, it was lots of fun.
What'd you do it with? Did you get the Iron Hands going, or
we had 2 Osmoril, 1 Grimmsnarl, and 1 Sylveon. And so we had Grimmsnarl doing like constant support of like light screen, reflect,
dual screens for days.
Yep, taunt and all that. Yep. And then the 2 Osmorils with superpower and belly drum just demolishing it.
So the Charizard was getting wrecked. The level 7 Charizard's getting wrecked. We were no hope against any of the other 5-star or 6-star raids.
Yeah, we tried another 6-star and we just got swept. Yeah, we're hyper specialized for Charizard, but no, it was really good. And obviously, there's going to be a whole bunch more of those special terror raids coming out. We will be doing all of those special terror raids with the streaming crew whenever they come out, so stay tuned for those. And lastly, all of the episodes of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are going to be out on YouTube over the next couple of days. There should be the full story and post game coming out over the next couple of days, even up until Christmas. I've got them all uploaded to YouTube, dropping 1 per day. So if you wanted to watch me fumble my way through Scarlet and Violet and occasionally do some incredible moves and experience some incredible glitches, go and check it out. It's lots of fun. All right, that's all of the... and we've been informed in chat that you can only catch 1 Charizard. Thank you, Archie. That was the message of the stream. Was you can only catch 1. We had about 50 different people letting us know about that. So thank you for that, everybody. Yes, you can only catch 1 Charizard. Noted. All right, I will do a recap for our last episode of Curse of Strahd, and we are going to be jumping straight back into things. So, last session. The newest team of the Tempest Adventuring Guild have found themselves lost in a strange land following a request to investigate some mysterious disappearances. Exploring a manor in the ruined town of Dowbridge, the group have faced ghosts, ghouls, and banshees, and in the process of disrupting a cursed magic ritual, have now been pulled through a tear in space to the demi-plane of Barovia. Dropped through the rift into a field along with ruined sections of the manor, the team was soon met by Rahadin, a dusk elf who introduced himself as the butler of the lord of this land, Count Strahd von Zarovich. Feeling uneasy about this strange man, the group remained fairly tight-lipped, and Rahadin was left to depart with not much information, giving the group a promise that his master would meet with them soon. Resting during the evening, the group departed at dawn, deciding to head to the town they had glimpsed through the tree line. Emerging from the forest, the party ran into a group of travelers who introduced themselves as Vistani. Suspicious of their easy laughter, Grinner decided he didn't trust these people one bit, even when they offered to sell a magic secret to the party which would allow them to traverse the mists and escape Barovia. A loose bargain was struck. The Vistani would trade this secret to the party in exchange for a small locked chest currently in possession of the Burgomaster of Krezk. Grinner's patience finally worn too thin, the party departed and arrived in the village of Barovia. Walking through the front gates, the group were met by a Barovian man who introduced himself as Ismark, son of the recently deceased village burgomaster. Ismark was quick to reveal his intentions to the party, sure he could trust these newcomers to the realm. The death of his father had been no happenstance. For several nights their house had come under attack from undead creatures. Sure that he and his sister Ireena could be next, Ismark plans to try and escape with her to the nearby village of Vallaki. Meeting with Ireena at the burgomaster's house, a plan was devised. Take the body of their father to the nearby church to be properly buried, spend the night safe in the chapel, and then take the road to Vallaki in the morning. We left off right as all of you were departing the burgomaster's estate. The house behind you that we discussed last episode, I'll describe again. 2-story manor covered in ruined sections of stonework and masonry, rotten wood, and smashed windows that have been boarded up hastily. The garden is in shambles. What greenery was there has been trampled underfoot, and torn apart, leaving the gate hanging on one hinge, rusty and swinging in the wind with a sort of noise. I can't do a great gate noise. I'll try again harder next time.
A top-notch gate, actually.
Oh, thank you.
Nailed it.
Thank you. As you begin walking back down the stairs out of the house, Ireena with you guys. Ismark was carrying his father's body in the makeshift litter that they had devised. Who else was carrying the body of the Burgomaster? I believe it was Grinner.
I just imagine we're doing the coffin guy dance down the road.
The coffin guy dance. You mean the pallbearers march?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no. You don't know the meme with the?
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that's a blast from the past. I think I've seen that meme in a while. So as you guys begin doing like the 1-2 step, all of you carry as Grinner holds the back of the litter, Ireena guiding with Ismark at the front, you begin walking down the front steps out past the gate and into the main streets of Barovia. Night hasn't set, but with the sun dropping below the mountains, shadows being cast across the town give it a feeling that it's much later than it actually is, much later than you actually know it to be. A chill is in the air, cooler than you remember, with the warmth of the sun, meager though it is now gone. A shiver sort of passes up down across your spine for Theodore, who is partly covered in hair, probably the hackles. Your hair actually rises up on your back of your neck as your hackles rise, or hackles rise, as you begin walking down the street. It doesn't take too long, only a few meters, before you come in line again with that house where you'd heard the weeping. As you walk up and begin passing along, this very faint just pervades the area. A sense of deep grief. Tears without end coming from inside the house as you guys begin to pass. Ireena pauses and sort of looks at Ismark. Ismark, have you had the chance to check in on Mad Mary? No, I don't think that's necessary. We don't need to... There's nothing I can do. Like, what can we do for her?
Perhaps not call her mad. It might be helpful. Not giving her an insulting nickname that she's known throughout the town might make her feel a little better.
Yeah, nicknames really do not. They make people feel a little bit hurt. So yeah, don't give them nicknames.
Maybe regular Mary.
Sorry, Mary. What can we do? I don't know how to comfort her with
mad
this.
as in like, oh, that's mad, eh?
Ireena turns and looks down
Mary.
at you. Fully sick Mary. Ireena turns and looks down at you, Tithla. She has been called Mad Mary for some time, long before this. She has lost a lot. Her husband during one of the clashes with the neighboring bandits. Her firstborn son a few years after that, and now her daughter has gone missing.
Okay, so it's probably not because she partied too much, and more to do with the immense trauma due to loss of human life.
Yes,
Yeah,
I would say that is probably where the source of her.
My comments were probably in a little bit of bad taste then.
It's okay. You are young. I understand that you have much to learn, and we're here to help guide you. As adults, that is what we're here to do.
Does she have any other family with her?
Not that I am aware of. I think, I believe she has a cousin in Vallaki, but I'm not sure how much she has to do with them. It's been some time since she spoke with them, as far as I'm aware.
When did she lose her last family? The spouse and children? Years? Weeks?
Her daughter or her husband and son?
Both.
Well, her husband passed away during a bandit raid 6 winters ago, so quite some time ago. Her son 2 winters after that, so 4 winters ago. Her daughter's only gone missing in the last few weeks.
Is it possible these undead monsters are responsible?
Oh yes, very, very possible, yes. But when I asked around town in the last few days, no one had heard or seen any attacks apart from our manor.
Have they come into the town previously?
Occasionally there will be creatures that wander in from outside. There have been reports of wolf attacks on the outskirts of town, and there's always stories about the werewolves. We do not tend to have too much trouble with them here, but I know that the towns further out can suffer attacks and raids from the werewolves from time to time.
But if she has a cousin in Vallaki, we could perhaps take her there. We're going anyway. It seems like a minor kindness we could do for a broken old woman.
Yes, I think that sounds lovely.
Unless anyone objects to...
I'll be completely honest if I'm being frank. Do we really want, like, is this like a covert mission? Like, you guys seem pretty on edge. Do we want like a sobbing, like, just distressed woman with us? And not to mention her age, like, she wouldn't fare well on the road at all. Like, I think we should come back and help her when we can, of course. But I think taking with us would be a bit hard.
Oh yes, I agree. I think having her travel with us could be a problem. Probably best.
She would absolutely be a liability.
I mean, so is spending the time to take a body to a church just to bury it, but we're still doing that?
For a very specific reason. Because the church offers a sanctuary overnight. Despite what my brother and his suspicions of the priest are, it is the wise thing to do. It is unwise to walk these roads after dark, and we know that the manor house is a target, but the church should be protected.
I mean, yeah, but Vallaki is more than 1 day away anyway, so we'll be spending a night on the road as is, correct?
1 night, not 2. If we were to leave now, that would be 2 nights that we would be spending on the road.
I thought we weren't leaving now. I thought we were just going up the hill.
Well,
Exactly,
my
we
point.
are.
I'm just saying, if we're already
We
doing,
can
kindnesses out of the goodness of our heart, perhaps we could take Mad Mary up to the... All right, but if no one wants to help the widow,
I think we can then maybe get her tomorrow.
We can abandon the widow to her own fate.
We're not abandoning her. It's just she's a fucking liability right now.
Yeah, it's not abandoning. Just going to leave her alone, or with no one to help her or support her, or any way to get out or escape.
Yeah, that does not sound like abandonment at all. She'd just be perfectly alone when we could adopt. It's fun.
I was worried that it was abandoning, but you've really made me feel a lot better. Thanks.
No, I'm glad I could help Tithla. I'm glad I could solve your moral conundrum.
I've always relied on you.
I'm assuming during
Timing
this
here-
time... Oh, no, sorry, go. No, Jonor, go.
Timing here seems a little bit interesting. So, was it 2 weeks ago that her daughter got taken away? And then how long ago did this horde of undead come along and attack your family?
That was, yes, probably about 2.5, 3 weeks ago.
And what else has happened? I'm sure there's something else that happened around that time frame as well.
Ooh, Jonor, can you make me a persuasion or investigation check? Your choice.
Well, it seems like a persuasion, so I'm going to do that. Oh, there we go.
Natural 20. Jonor, how would you persuade them? How would you?
So he's gone the data collection route. His like timeline 1, 2, 3. It's like if you know other things which match that timeline, share us that information is the intent he's going for.
Yeah. Ismark sort of pauses for a second as you say that. You guys are still walking through the streets at this point. I've assumed you're not just stopped outside this woman's house and just chatted loudly about how she's a liability and useless. I've assumed you kept walking. As you keep walking, Ismark sort of pauses for a second, Jonor, sort of causing the makeshift canopy? No, what's the word I'm looking for? When you're... Litter, thank you. The makeshift litter. Sort of to rock a little bit. Grinner, you sort of have to pause and shuffle your feet a bit to stop yourself running into the back of it as Ismark goes, there was that stranger who came into town. And Ireena sort of pauses and goes, what was his name? Rill, yes, the stranger who came into town, yes. What about him? Well, he came into town. He came into town about 3 weeks ago, right before all of this started. And I haven't seen him for at least a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks. That is interesting. You are right. I had not noticed that I haven't seen him for quite some time as well.
Strangers coming into the town a common occurrence? I mean, we have just arrived. It seems like a fairly large town. People coming and going can't be too noteworthy.
Ismark sort of gives a bit of a look and goes, look, as strange as you lot seem, I mean, I've not seen too many goblins in my time before. I've not really seen...
Hey, you keep your mouth up like that, you won't see any more.
I was just going to say I haven't seen many satyrs either. I don't think I've ever seen a satyr before. Was the next thing I was about to say.
Me too, sorry.
Yeah. Bit of a hair trigger there.
Goblins either.
Well,
Okay.
what about Aasimar? Have you seen anyone like me before? Or
What's you? Apologies. I'm sorry. I just thought you were a human or some sort of.
no, I'm a little bit part celestial, so I've got a bit of a history there with
Like to show
being
off
from
about
another
it?
plane.
Hey, Theo.
No, I'm just sharing the information because he's talking about new creatures come across it. He just could be interested.
Hey, Theo, how do you know someone's Aasimar? They tell you.
So I was the vegans of D&D?
Oh my god. As Ireena sort of pauses and looks at you, Jonor, she sort of comes around and has a bit of a look in your eyes and goes, apologies. Aasimar, we have heard of these. We have heard of people who have celestial blood in them before, but not calling Aasimar. Aasimar.
ASMR is how it's pronounced.
Aasimar. Aasimar. Yes. No, we have not. I have not heard it referred to like that. I've seen people. Strangers have come through before with angel origin or celestial blood in them, but Aasimar. I like this name. It is good.
That's right. Yeah. No. I can tell you anything about our history if you want to know.
Okay, Jonor, that's fine, but you were mentioning the strangers, Ismark?
Yes, sorry. Yes, no, he was a very odd. I've not seen his like before. Quite tall, blue skin, and
Blue skin?
yes, he looked a little bit like I mean, I don't want to say fishy, but he had no ears, just like holes on the side of his head, and very just jet black eyes, no whites. What's that bit called? The white bit. The white bit. No whites.
You just welcomed this shark man into your homes?
No, we did not. We were mighty suspicious of him. I did not approach him for any of my troubles, although this was before.
This was real. Real 3 weeks ago was the blue man.
Yes, he came in with some others, but the rest of them were quite unremarkable. They left soon after. They had a big row in the tavern. He and this group, I think, some humans and a dwarf, and him, and they had a big row, and they stormed off without him. And if you want to see them, we will be able to see their ghosts tonight. They stormed the castle, and they now have joined the March of the Dead.
Oh. Do people often join this march? The welcome to this black parade?
Every single person who has gone against Strahd has joined the march. Every single one.
So earlier,
That's not good.
go on.
That's just not good. That's all I had to say. I'm so sorry that I was cutting you off, Jonor. I just don't know what came
perfectly
across.
okay. You need to express yourself if you need that. You mentioned that 3 weeks ago the priest you said was a bit odd, Ismark?
Yes. He's been acting very suspicious for the last sort of 3 weeks or so, maybe 3-4 weeks. Normally he does blessings throughout the town. He will walk through and do public blessings, but he recently announced that he would only do these in private and that people must come to him. And I can't prove anything, but I am sure that at least 2 or 3 of the people who have gone missing, I know that they had said to others or to their friends and family that they were going to get one of these blessings from Father Donovich, and they have not returned. Their friends and family claim that they have, and that the father saw them on their way, but I can't account for their movements after that.
So are you saying that their last point of contact was this priest?
I can't prove anything, but that's my suspicion, yes.
And Mad Mary is her daughter, possibly one of those people?
Yes,
Did
one of
she
the
go
ones who went missing. I hadn't thought to ask about whether or not she'd had a blessing from Donovich. Ireena sort of cocks her head and goes, I did have a chance to try and talk to Mary when her daughter first went missing. As far as I know, she and the priest do not talk very much at all. I do not believe that Mary would have gone for a blessing, and I don't think her daughter Gertruda would have either. They not very religious. It's hard to lose so many family and still believe in in a higher power and a greater plan.
I mean, do you not see a walk of dead souls every single night towards our castle? How have you not started worshipping this? I've seen people worship much less than this.
I think Barovians have a tough time worshipping anything. Because if we were to worship something, the most powerful being in this land is Strahd himself, and he does not deserve our worship. And you hear a bit of venom come into her voice as she says this.
So, you said that this blue-skinned man, his compatriots in that march. Is he himself in that march as well?
No, I have not seen him, and I was looking out for him, because he is a little bit suspicious. I cannot say I have seen him, though.
Hey, yeah, that is mighty suspicious.
Shall we get up to the church then, and see what is up with the priest for ourselves?
Yeah, I'd like to get Dad off my shoulder.
I think,
yes, of course.
I think we should all tread lightly around the priest, though. Personally, I think we should deal with this is like almost like an investigation. The priest is if he's the last one to have been seen with these people, then he's definitely a suspect.
Would you like me to take the lead questioning him?
You know what? You've done mighty fine so far, Tithla. I think you need a well-deserved break.
You know what? I think you're right. I'm going to put my feet up. Not on the coffin, though. That would be disrespectful.
Exactly. You look mighty tired, my friend.
I'm not that tired. I can stay up late.
Oh, no.
You have a bedtime, Tithla. We've established this. This is why we had to stay at the church overnight. You cannot be out after 10 p.m.
But the street lights aren't even on yet.
You get very cranky if you do this.
Street lights. We have lanterns that we sometimes light if we're able to get the lamplighters.
See, and they're not on.
No, they are. Well, 2 of the 3 lamplighters have gone missing. They're one of the two of the people who've gone missing.
Wait, so how many people went missing overall?
In Barovia, every week we lose people for the last few years. Yes, in this village. In
Barovia.
In the village, yes, it is confusing. In the village of Barovia, people go missing.
It's like New York,
all the time.
New York.
Yes.
It's Barovia.
What's New York, New York?
It's a song that I heard from a far-off land.
Oh, okay, yes. No, you have to understand this place is. There is not a lot of things here to enjoy. People go missing here all the time. It is just part of life. Sometimes people just disappear. Sometimes you find bodies. And if, heaven forbid, someone in this village has angered the Count, then you will find their innards strewn across the streets as a warning.
In the last month, though, how many people went missing, you reckon?
In the last month, maybe 9 or 10. More than is usual, definitely.
So we've got a few that have been potentially confirmed with the priest going missing. For seeing him. And then a few of the ones that light the lamps have also gone missing in the dead of night. So they're traveling by themselves. No one really is aware of their movements, so they're pretty easy pickings by the sound of it.
Yes, the lamplighters wear long cloaks, peaked hoods, the ceremonial robes, these oiled leather cloaks with hoods, peaked hoods, and they carry these massive stocks, long metal poles with a fuse at the top that they light to light the lanterns.
Okay, 9 or 10. Jeez, that work's cut out for us, it seems, and we have to leave as well. Damn.
How does this city maintain population?
That's a good point.
You said that out loud. You said that out loud.
Rabbits.
Yeah, no. You said that out loud. We're not. We're dying out slowly but surely. This village used to be populated by thousands. We're down to hundreds. We are slowly but surely dying out.
I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Ismark. It seems like a town.
That's true, it does.
It's a shithole. You don't have to hold back. We're getting out of here as soon as we can.
I'm surprised you guys have been here as long as you have.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. What the fuck you all doing here still?
Our father was the burgomaster. It was his responsibility, as it was his father's before him and his father's before him, to run the town and to protect its citizens. But I don't think we are the best people for that, Ismark and I. The villagers do not look up to Ismark and do not respect him. Sorry, Ismark.
Is that because of...
No offense taken. It's not anyone's fault. and I am not truly the Burgomaster's daughter. I am adopted. I cannot inherit. It is now time to leave. Now that our father is dead and his dream of bringing Barovia back to life has failed, it is time to abandon this place.
Yeah. Well, let's go.
People...
Oops, sorry, Grinner. You go ahead.
No, you're right. Just look. There's a lot of you. Yeah. I mean, there used to be a lot more, right?
Yes.
But there's a lot of you, and there's a lot of towns. There's a lot of people in this place. It's not a small little whatever the fuck this place is. Why the fuck haven't you all just, joined up into a peasant army, right? And stormed his little fucking hovel up there?
Yeah, it's said it's been tried about 3 times.
What happened? Just nothing.
I guess that's
this one bloke, this one fucking geezer's that strong.
He and his brides, yes, they are.
Does he have a standing army or anything like that as well?
Not an army per se, but he has a lot of creatures here that serve him. Undead creatures that serve him. There are his brides as well, women who have been turned into vampires like himself, who are terribly powerful as well. But you have to understand, he's not just a vampire, he is a very, very powerful magic user. I've seen him do things I did not dream were possible. I remember one night, a comet streaked across the sky. I watched him, a shadow, fly out from the tallest tower. He wove a net of light around this thing and caught this streak, this fireball from the sky, caught it in this net of light woven from his hands. And I watched him take it apart piece by piece, build a new tower out of it. Sky Iron, it is called.
Jonor, have you ever heard of any wizards doing stuff like that?
Yeah. Can I go a history check for?
Yeah, history
that
or
sort of
arcana?
feat?
Your choice.
Yeah. What's he gonna do?
Natural 1. Jonor, you're just like, whoa, that is some cool magic, bro. Probably Jonor's subconscious. Jonor's subconscious is like, maybe one day.
Yeah. No, I've never heard of magic like that, catching and deconstructing objects from the sky. That's not in my books.
Okay.
Do you happen to know how many brides he might have? Any more than one seems abnormal to me.
Definitely more than one. I believe I have seen at least 3 or 4, possibly even 5.
Damn.
3 to 5, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Do they how many days in a week in this Barovia?
7.
7? That's not even... You can't divide that evenly across the week.
No, you have to favor some brides extra.
Sorry, I think you misunderstand. He sort of looks over at the rest of you looking a little bit confused. I'm assuming you guys are still walking through town while this is going on.
Yeah.
Ismark sort of turns, pauses with the coffin again. Grinner, you have to sort of stumble to a stop for a second time as Ismark sort of pauses and looks down at Tithla and looks back at you guys. Can she... I'm not sure what, age I should be setting what I'm about to say to.
Oh no, she's 30 actually, so it's fine.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Tithla.
Actually, I have no idea.
I'm sorry. You just look so youthful and so full of life. I'm so sorry.
How old are you actually?
Hey, it's hard to know the translation from goblin years to people years. I've been with my family from anywhere. I think I've been with them for 14 years, but they only found me, and yeah, who knows?
Well, damn.
30.
Ireena places a hand on your shoulder, Tithla. I understand what it is to not know your real family. I hope your adopted family were as kind and as nice to you as mine were.
They're great.
Until she tried to sell you to Jonor?
Well,
no, Mum said no. Jonor tried and said no.
I was in the room. I was in the room there. She sort of really put her foot down, but wasn't the brightest spot for Jonor there.
I was open to it. I didn't really understand what was going on, but Mum seemed to say no.
Well,
sorry, we'll continue. We don't need
in that case, then I will just say what I was going to say, which is, he also has not just brides, people sometimes. And I know, Ireena, you're going to tell me I am ridiculous, but I swear one of the strangers who came a few years back, I swear I have seen him up at the castle as either a prisoner or a consort of Strahd. I swear I saw him from one of the windows. Ireena looks and goes, I'm not going to call you an idiot, Ismark. If you have not seen one of these people in the March of the Dead, then it is very possible that Strahd has taken them and kept them in his castle. What my brother is trying to say is that sometimes Strahd takes
I'm so sorry,
consorts.
Ireena. What does this fellow look like?
Which one?
The one that you see sometimes, Ismark, in the window.
Oh, blonde hair, youngish gentleman, elven or half elven, I believe. He's been there for some years, maybe 3 or 4.
Does he look like a Sven?
I don't remember his name. I'm sorry.
Does he look like a Sven?
Tithla, what does that even mean?
I was just wondering if we could try and guess his name off first go.
What?
You don't know until you try.
No,
I'm going to
Does it look like his name would be Sven, like Grinner? Clearly your name is Grinner, no offense.
It's because you know my fucking name, love.
That's a fair point.
Alright,
shall we
get into the church? Let's get into the church. There's no point sitting out here in the cold.
We're actually just at the gates. Probably perfect time if we were going to keep a bit quiet and not talk about things.
I just wanted to ask Ismark one quick thing about what he was talking about before there.
Yes.
I described the golden-haired man I saw in the portraits to him.
No. Doesn't seem to match that description.
Okay.
This man looks more like an entertainer, maybe a bard of some sorts.
Okay. Cool.
As you begin walking up the edge of the village, you pass through the narrow streets of Barovia, heading north towards the outskirts of the town and the area that the church occupies. You can see from your vantage point, coming between the buildings, the church is positioned in front of a large graveyard filled with tombstones and these large vaults of stone laid out with stairs heading down into undercrofts below, where you imagine many generations of Barovians have been buried along with their families and forebears. Atop a slight rise against the roots of the pillar stone that supports the massive castle behind, the cliff running down, you can see the church is made of this sort of grey, quite old and weathered stone and wood. It's worn, there are sections that have fallen through from the roof, but a bell tower rises toward the back, and the bell tower actually seems to be in fairly good nick. A massive bronze bell, actually untarnished by any rust or decay, still shining through the edge where the bell tower is. As you approach the church and up through the passageway, you can see that the heavy wooden doors of the church are marked with some scratches and a few scorch marks as you begin coming up close to the church. Ismark sort of turns and stretches his shoulders a bit and then goes, I think we can place down my father here, and we'll talk to Donovich before just walking in carrying a body. I think that will be best.
All right.
That checks out.
Before we head in, I know that Ireena thinks I am being foolish, but I think it's best if we do not say much to the priest about our plans, just that we wish to have my father interred, buried, and looked after, and that we will be departing in the morning for... Actually, I don't even want to say that. Just that we will only be with him for the night, and we will be returning.
Let's say we're going on a diplomatic tour. We're going to see the Burgomaster of Valaka for trade relations.
I'm actually wondering if it's wise to even share that we're going anywhere. Sorry, she's gone Irish. Sorry, I'm wondering if it's wise to even share that we are planning on going to Valaki. Perhaps it is best to say nothing of our destination, or perhaps even lie about where we are planning to go.
Well, I wouldn't even tell them that we're leaving. Like, we just come here, we stay the night, have our vigil with Pops, and then we're, as far as he's concerned, go back to your place.
But then why are we here? Like, that makes sense for why Ireena and Ismark would come to here, but why are five strangers coming with us?
Well, we're the hired guard, right? They keep on having these fucking creatures rock up, so we're just here to make sure that the ceremony goes smoothly.
It's not out of the question that there would be people coming here strangers to our lands arriving and coming in. I do not think it is a strange thing for you to seek sanctuary in the church overnight. You have nowhere to stay. The tavern does not have beds that you can sleep. I mean...
Well, Luther, do you have a connection with your deity? Do you think there's any sort of connection to this place? We could spin it that way, perhaps?
Yeah, look, we could, I think he follows the same sort of god that I follow, potentially. We'll find out when I go inside, but, yeah, no, we could definitely spin that. I could be, like, doing, like, an overnight vigil for them, like, they've contracted us to, I guess, sort of help
with the passing, like a ceremony, and all angles for a suitable departure of her father. I think makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. I agree with that. I can definitely. I have all my religious stuff as well for that, so I can definitely. I'll be doing I think a bit of an overnight vigil anyway for your father, but yeah.
Is it worth us? Is it worth us coming in 2 groups?
No, we can just doing that on the road. We talked to Ismark. He told us to come up here, and we are offered to help with the father.
Yeah, somebody had to carry him up here. Yep. We just helped out.
But I agree. Let's not say we are planning on leaving if we do not trust where the information goes.
Completely agree. I'm looking around. So are we close enough to see that underground area? So a set of stairs that looks to go to the catacombs or whatever you described. I don't imagine they're visited too often. Does it look like it's been heavily used recently?
The pathway up towards the church, or the area around towards the graveyard? Because you can see that there is a pathway leading down towards the graveyard.
Yeah.
So
the will probably be inside.
The pathway towards the graveyard looks to be fairly well trodden. Boot prints mark the surface of the dusty road, and you can see, heading in both directions, and you can see occasionally drag marks as well from people possibly dragging coffins or shovels or things up towards the graveyard. Do you want to make me a survival check, Jonor, just to see how much you get? That's a 3. Yeah, that's really all you get.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say, Jonor. You can see that the road looks to be fairly well trodden. The pathway up to the church as well. It's a well-worn old pathway. Not really much to say.
Guys, I guess we'll just keep an eye out for anything weird. In the meantime.
Sounds like a good idea.
All looks good.
Would you like me to keep guard, keep watch? It's pretty restful. I can sit while I'm doing it.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, if you're happy, just sit out in front here, Tithla.
Would you like fresh air? We're not super psyched on the whole inside of church thing. I'll hang out here.
Alright, shall we go see this priest?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just use the code word if you need me to come in and help, and I'll use the code word if I need you to come out here and help.
Yeah, the code word is help. The priest is evil and we need to kill him.
What? That doesn't make sense for me to say that, but I'll keep it in mind.
That's so long.
That's how you know it's real and not a fake code word.
I go up and knock on the church door. Father, we need sanctuary.
As you bang on the heavy wooden doors, Theodore, you can hear the echo move throughout the church. And then, what's your passive perception? I believe you've got a fairly high passive perception.
Yes, passive perception is 15.
Yeah, you can hear the sound of footsteps heading towards the door. As the wooden doors very slowly and painfully push open, only one opening very slightly, a slightly older human face, quite pale, peeks out from behind the church doors. Yes, hello?
Hello, are you the priest of Barovia?
I am Father Donovich, yes. What do you need? How can I help you?
2 things. One, we need to arrange for a service for the Burgomaster's body. And 2, my friends and I, we fell out of a hole in the sky and we are, technically speaking, homeless. It would be, if we could seek sanctuary here for the night until we can find our way and find a life for ourselves, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, just for tonight. We just need somewhere to rest our boots.
You can see the priest, this older man with greying hair, starting to actually go balding on top, dressed in these long white and black robes. As he peeks around, has a bit of a closer look at the rest of you and goes, "Oh my, there's a lot of you. Maybe I could find some space. And as he's sort of blustering, Ismark steps forward. Donovich, we're also here. We're here to lay my father to rest. I believe Ireena had sent you a message not too long ago. Yes, Ireena. Oh, Ireena, yes, hello. Right, well, you better all come in then. Best not to dawdle after dark.
Insight check.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we'd all be
quivering
please.
after dark.
Yeah, I'll give a quick insight check too.
Best not to dawdle after dark. That's a natural one from Jonor. Jonor, he's fucking right, man.
20s and 1s out of Jonor.
Probably best not to dawdle after dark. Grinner 7, yeah, probably best not to dawdle after dark. Makes sense. Luther and Theodore, 2019. The priest seems on edge, a bit nervous, unsure. And seeing Ismark and Ireena actually seems to have made him more nervous. Initially, you would have thought that seeing a friendly face, or a familiar face at least, might abate some of those nerves and anxiety. Because you are all strangers. It's possible that he is just anxious about knowing whether or not he can trust you. But seeing the rest of you... seeing Ismark and Ireena with the rest of you, it's almost like he's become a bit more nervous. And you can see that his hand actually holding onto the door is shaking a little bit, as if he's actually quite scared.
So, like, he's obviously not scared of, like, the denizens of the night by the sense of it. It's like the moment he saw us, he was spooked, and then got even more spooked.
He has seemed nervous since the second he opened the door, maybe even before that.
Okay.
I sort of push my way through him and enter as politely as I can.
As he pushes back out of the way. Sorry.
Thank you, Father.
Apologies. Please. Yes. Yes. You better. Better come on in.
As I see his hand shaking, I sort of grab them and go, "It's okay, Father. It's okay, Father. Nothing to worry about here. Just take it easy and relax. It's everything okay?"
Donovich doesn't really meet your eyes, Luther. Your inside of 20 continues. As you still take his hands, they feel quite cold to the touch. You can feel them sort of shaking. He quickly actually pulls them away out of your grip. Oh, yes, sorry, no, yes, everything is fine. The church is it's in a bit of a state. Please excuse the mess in the next room. I'm sorry. We've had some problems as of late. And as you push through, Theodore, and begin moving down the corridor, you can see into the chapel beyond. A narrow passageway with 4 doors, 2 on the right, 2 on the left, opens up into the large open chapel area. And as you step down into the chapel, you can see the altar at the far end seems to be in fairly good nick, but most of the pews have been smashed or shattered, are in terrible nick.
Is Father Donovich? Donovich?
Donovich.
Oh, yeah, Donovich.
What has happened to all of these pews? They seem... You do not seem like a man who would neglect the house of his god? What is...
No. Vandals or some such broke in and vandalized our religious space while I was performing an internment out in the graveyard. I heard the commotion and came running back. I've been doing my best to try and piece everything back together, but it's been a bit tough just by myself.
Am I buying that?
Terrible.
Do you want to make me... we'll use your previous insight, Theodore.
Okay.
Theodore and Luther, I mean, you don't get the sense he's outright lying. Like, when he says that vandals or someone must have broken it, vandals or someone must have broken it. It's a weird turn of phrase. You don't get the sense he did this, and you can see evidence of where he has attempted to repair some of these pews. The legs have been stuck back together, and he has clearly tried to use a hammer and nails quite poorly. It looks like he's not particularly good at this, to try and repair this space. And you can see the altar has actually been cleaned up and a new cloth has been put over it. the staining of the altar is actually the shadow from where the previous altar cloth had been. This new one's a lot smaller, and so the stain's not as it's still visible underneath where the clear sections were.
It just seems like it's more of that or someone that was involved there rather than the
turn
the
of
vandal.
Like something about that statement just does not sit right with you, Theodore and Jonor. That the way he said that, something feels off about that.
What?
Oh yeah, sorry, Theodore and Luther. Sorry, I don't know why I said Jonor. I was
That
looking at
is
Jonor.
absolutely terrible to hear, Mr. Donovich. That vandals would terrorize a holy space is. This town is in more dire straits than I thought.
Yes. Sometimes things happen, and when you are a holy man, a priest of Lysander, sometimes you can be targeted by those who do not worship your faith and who fail to see the light. Yes.
Luther, you're a follower of Lysander as well. Have you ever heard of
Yes.
holy spaces being vandalized like this? I would have thought the god of light was particularly well thought of. Most people like light.
That's a good question. How often does it happen in our material plane?
Oh, yeah, Luther, churches being vandalized, that's not really something that happens. There's a great degree of religious freedom across Nostea because all of the gods share a kind of common origin. All of them were primordial beings who became gods through the adoption by the various peoples. Really, there's not much inter-religious fighting and inter-religious hatred. In fact, it's kind of seen as a very primitive thing. It doesn't really happen on Nostea. But that's not to say that it can't happen elsewhere. You know that frightened people can do crazy things.
Yes, I'll respond back and go. Look, from where we are, like, or where we sort of hail from.
I'd say you guys can probably. Oh, sorry, I thought you were about to say from where you are, like in position. I'll move you into the chapel anyway. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
I'll say.
Just so you guys can see it too.
Look, I've never really run into this problem before. I personally haven't seen it, but by saying that, we're in a completely different plane, so it definitely could happen here. Like, for as far as I'm aware.
Fair enough.
Owen, how?
Hello.
Like, it's a fairly extensive amount of damage.
Yes.
Yeah? Like, assuming that vandals did come in and do this, how many and how long would it take?
Oh, Grinner, can you make me a investigation or a... No, it's going to be investigation check. Investigation check.
So while he's rolling that, I just want to ask you a quick question as well, Owen.
Hello.
Sorry, just to break this up. Hello. When I actually grasped his hands and he wasn't looking at me and his eyes were trailing off, were they trailing off in a particular direction or like a door or anything like that?
Ooh, I'll get an investigation check from you too, please, Luther. Grinner, that was a... Sorry, not a natural one. That was a 2, Grinner. -1 is a 1. Grinner, as you look at this, you're like, oh, I've had nights like this. Probably one very drunk person could have done this. Hard to say. I mean, it's smashed wood. You're looking at the church from the outside. A lot of the wood's a bit rotten, a bit old. You don't think it was particularly tough to do this. I mean, as you look around, you're like, yeah, you probably could give it enough time and enough piss-offness. You could probably emulate this effect quite easily. Alrighty, 8 for Luther. Donovich seemed to be looking around at a couple of different locations. Almost not looking at one location in particular, just not really wanting to meet your eyes, Luther, not really wanting to have that eye contact. Mostly sort of looking left, right, and down from that position in the hallway. So north, south, and just directly down as you were like trying to grab his hands.
So looking upwards, downwards, and
no, left, right, and down. So like trying to avoid your eye contact, but not looking up, because to look up means he's kind of like meeting your gaze. He's kind of keeping his eyes downturned and looking left and right in that downturned gaze. So I could have explained that better. That's how I explain it better. Yeah.
Sweet.
You'd think an optometrist would be able to explain directions of gaze, but apparently not. Never mind.
No chance.
Yeah. Ismark sort of looks over at Donovich and goes, Donovich, I'm sorry. I had no idea that this had happened. How long ago was this? What? A few nights ago. You said something about your father. Ismark sort of looks at us. Fuck, we left him outside. Grinner, can I?
It is all right. He's with Tithla.
Tithla's got it. But yeah, I'll go.
Did somebody call my name?
Tithla, you're just sitting
I mean,
outside on the
it's a
steps,
priest
kicking your
doing
feet
it.
back and forwards. In
No,
front of
that's
you
not
is
the code, Dave. That's not the code.
See, it could have been tricky if it wasn't so long and complex.
Tithla, you just sitting on the steps, kicking your feet. He name you can sort of listen out. Nah, it doesn't seem like they need you. They've left the litter with the corpse on it, just sitting outside. The body of this burgomaster. It's just sitting there, coins over the eyes, hands wrapped up, and as you sort of sit there looking at it, is this something that would unnerve Tithla a little bit, or not so much?
No, it's just a box.
I mean, it is open. You can see the body inside.
People die.
People die. Okay, cool. So
As a
Tithla's not
ranger as
too.
well, probably
Nah,
just sort of
people die,
like
it's fine.
circle.
But as a child, I just want to check
Yeah.
in.
I mean, she's not.
No, I know.
Kind of juvenile.
I know. But yeah, okay, Tithla, you're not too worried.
Yeah,
It doesn't take too long before
Old
Ismark and
people
Grinner.
die.
What was
Is
that, sorry?
more of it. Old people die.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It doesn't take Ismark and Grinner too long before they sprint out. Ismark giving you a bit of like a nervous laugh as he runs back and picks up the litter with Grinner, and they begin bringing the body of Ismark's father and Ireena's father back inside the church. While they're gone, Ireena sort of stands over next to Donovich and looks at him and goes, "Father, you seem very troubled. Is all well? Have you heard from your son?" "Oh, no, not for some time. Yes, he's still out wandering the world. He'll, yes, finding his own way."
Is that something people do often here in Barovia? It seems like
that inside as well. Damn it.
Yeah, make another insight. 10. Yeah, you're just not really sure, Luther. That doesn't ring true either. From the little you know about Barovia, the village and the place, this does not seem like a place where one simply wanders about.
Unless you're the Vistani.
Yeah, unless you're Vistani, exactly. Unless you're Vistani. And again, something about that doesn't seem to ring true. As Donovich says this, though, a figure steps out from one of the rooms, the door opening. A tall, very tall male, roughly about sort of 6.5 feet tall, with this very light blue skin. Nose is partly squashed against the face, wearing robes, blue and white and green. Hanging down low with some scale armor underneath, steps out and goes, "What is going on? I hear voices. We have other guests, Father?" Oh, sorry, Rill. I thought you'd be asleep by now. Apologies. Sorry. Yes. We have some others seeking sanctuary for the night. I will not share my room. Oh, I wasn't going to ask. I thought they could stay out here in the common room. As Rill sort of turns and looks at you, goes, Outlanders. You are from where?
We are from the Fae Realm. We've already had this question several times today. Where are you from?
A place called the Forgotten Realms. I am
How
from
do
a
you
city,
remember them?
Waterdeep.
I see.
You may call me Rill.
Do we recognize what race he is?
You have never seen his like before. There are no Verdelkin in Nostea. This is a very strange sight for you. For those of you who are listening along, this is a viewer NPC that has been created. One of the viewers, Brune Brassack, saved up enough of his channel points to create an NPC. This is one of the NPCs. You too can also create NPCs for the stream. If you save up your channel points and watch us live, you can also check in NPCs. This is Brune's second NPC for the stream, Rill. The figure turns towards you. Hard to sort of gauge age because he's quite odd looking, very strange and alien looking as he sort of cocks his head and looks at you lot. Yes, Tithla.
Jacob.
Jacob.
Is this different to... So is this Rill different to the Rill that was not fish-like and different to the Rel that we met in the Vistani?
So there is Rel. I know. So this was he named his character. I'm like, well, I've already used that.
No,
name,
that's
so
great. I just want to make sure.
No, this is a different person.
So there was Rel, Rill, and Rill.
There's Rel and Rill.
Yep.
What was
and
the
this
blue
is
fish-like person?
Rill.
Were they Rill?
This is the blue fish-like person.
The blue
This
fish-like
is the fish guy.
Oh, this is Rill.
This is Rill.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, makes sense.
Forgotten Realms, is that like a place in Barovia?
No, it is a place far from here. My companions and I'm assuming got here the same way you did. The mists came and dragged us in here.
No, we saw through a hole in the sky, actually.
Oh, we don't need to tell him this.
That's fair enough.
Hole in the sky.
And we
Interesting.
told that to Butler Man already.
You too have met Rahadin, butler to Strahd von Zarovich.
What did you think of him?
I thought he was a prick.
Look, I like this fishman. He seems to know exactly. Did you meet the Vistani as well?
No, I have not had much interactions with the Vistani. I do not trust people who laugh so easily.
Look, I think this little guy is a pretty swell dude.
What's your business here, Real? What are you doing in town?
I just want to get home. I have been abandoned by my party. They decided to take the fight to Strahd. Now they walk with the other ghosts in the March of the Dead. Serves them
Real,
right.
are you aware, since you popped up in this village 3 weeks ago, that a few people went missing?
Yes.
Are you aware of that fact?
Yes, I was investigating it. That is what has brought me to the priest's house.
But you've been staying here in the priest's house?
Only for the last 2 nights.
So you came here on a hunch looking into the investigation of these missing people?
Not on a hunch.
And decided to stay here?
I spoke with someone who claims that they had... one of the villagers who had gotten lost. Claims that they had heard music coming from the graveyard. I watched them for a time. Followed them here. But Stonovich says they have departed, so I stay the night and I will pick up their trail in the morning.
When he says departed, does he mean like left the area or like they are one of the departed?
Donovich is standing there, goes, No, they left, they went home. I tried to tell you this before, Riddle. They left, they had to go back home.
I don't really want to alarm you, Donovich. Look, obviously following the same faith, I'm a devoted follower of Lysander, as I'm sure you are, as I look around at his, like, ruined chapel.
The altar is in good condition. Full credit to him. It looks like he prioritized repair of the altar. You can see that there is a sun motif on the altar cloth, a silver effigy of the sun in full blast rays of light coming off from it, set and embossed in silver. I mean, he's clearly made an effort to get the altar back, and now he's moved on to the pews. It looks like he prioritized the altar being fixed before moving on to the altar.
You go, Luther.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to finish up with the semi-interrogation. So I've heard you've had some people come by and sort of looking for some guidance or some blessings of sorts. How has that been going for you?
I still perform blessings whenever I can. The people of Barovia need the blessings of the sun upon them in this land of eternal dark. A part of my my duties as priest of Lysander is to give them that blessing.
And have they all found their way home safe and sound?
I do not know. Once they leave the doors of the chapel, I tend not to have much to do. I very rarely leave the chapel nowadays.
Yeah, that was a question I had actually. I'm not trying to sound accusational or anything, but you recently stopped going to people to do blessings and made them come to you, and now people love you know.
Yes, I rarely leave the chapel.
Why this change?
I just, since my son left, I feel unsafe. I feel like I can't leave this place unattended. And as you can see, as he points at the destruction behind him, when I do, things happen. Bad things happen.
Okay.
Please feel free to rest as you see fit. I will begin the ceremony for our burgomaster.
I'm so sorry, Donovich, but have you been aware that a few of the people who went missing, the last point of contact was yourself.
Oh no, that can't be right. No.
No, it is very true. That is the case for a few of the missing people. Look, I'm not accusing you or anything like that. I know a lot of people go missing, but I just thought I'd get your input on that.
I was not aware that the people had gotten lost on their way home from the chapel after blessings. I do try and discourage people from coming here after dark. It is dangerous, but some people, when they need the priest's help, insist on coming at all hours. That's why I have my chambers so close to the front door, so I can hear when people come and knocking at.
Were any of the people who went missing? Were they agitated? Were they, did they have any? Were they scared? What was their general sort of the ones that went missing? And I'll look at Ismark and get him to sort of tell me which one the names of the people who were missing that Donovan last had contact with.
As you sort of give a nod towards Ismark sort of looks at Ireena. Ireena gives Ismark a very stern look. Ismark looks down at his toes and then goes, Zachariah Donovich. Have you seen Zachariah? Last I saw, he was coming up towards the church, and I wasn't spying. I just happened to be outside for some hours, enjoying a drink at the tavern, and I never saw him come back. What happened to Zachariah? Have you seen where he went? Donovich begins looking quite uncomfortable. Zachariah? Oh, yes. Oh, no, I remember. He said he had family in Vallaki. He needed to go and visit. Ah, yes, that's right. Yes. Yes.
I think you failed to realize, though, that Ismark said he never saw him leave the chapel.
Oh, Ismark must be mistaken. You weren't there all night, were you, Ismark? It was quite a long blessing. I was with Zachariah for some time and helped him prepare for his journey to Vallaki. Ismark looks and goes, I wasn't there all night, but I was there late enough. 8, Luther. Yeah, you're not sure. I mean, it sounds plausible when he says it.
Well, perhaps we should, at the risk of this conversation perhaps becoming accusatory, we should do the ceremony with the body first, get the important matters out of the way and perhaps while you're doing this, I could help repair the pews, Father Donovan?
Yeah, I'd absolutely help as well.
Oh, would you? Yes. Well, please. There's some nails and a hammer or two somewhere over here. Please, thank you, bless you both. I will. I'll
please
get to work.
Go outside. Take all the time you need. Roughly, how long is the ceremony?
I'll probably be about an hour or two.
Good to know. Please go ahead. Ismark, Ireena, please be with your father. We will make this area fit for living for the evening and fix up the pews for the townsfolk.
Ismark and Ireena both sort of look at you guys, look back at Donovich. Ireena goes, yes, Father, if it wouldn't be too much of an imposition, could we accompany you to the ceremony? We would like to say goodbye to our father together, if that is not too much to ask. Oh, normally I do these sort of things alone. Ismark goes, well, but it is late, Father, and you're going to be heading outside after dark. Perhaps it would be best if Ireena and I accompanied you to keep you safe.
Is that also a normal thing for a priest to do, of Lysander?
I mean, yeah, as you think about that, Luther, a ceremony after dark? Lysander's the goddess of the sun.
Sorry, what was that?
A ceremony after dark alone by himself without the loved ones.
Donovich, I don't mean to pry. Well, I'm sort of going to, but
I don't mean to pry, but fuck you, I'm gonna pry.
You should let him go outside with them. You can.
Oh no, I think that's
go outside.
I think that's swell and all, but Donovich, I just want to ask a quick question. Don't we followers of Lysander? Don't we normally give blessings and such in the morning?
Yes, of course.
With the sun coming up of Lysander, and
yes.
Why are you doing it now?
Needs must, my boy. With the body having already been passed over by the sun once. I must do some rituals to help prepare it for the morning sun. We shall not bury him until the sun rises the next day, but there are some rituals and preparations I need to do to prepare the body for its final resting place.
Right, you
So
got
I'm
to
starting to get a little.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a little suspicious. Well, I'd love to help you with that if I myself am someone a follower of Lysander. I've participated in a lot of rituals and such and other matters for our gods. So I would love to help you.
Oh,
this is most peculiar as well. Like this is maybe like a new almost like some new blessings or new rituals I could learn. I've never met someone who normally does it in the dark, like in the dead of night. So maybe this is a learning experience for us.
Can you make me a persuasion check, please, Luther?
-1.
That's okay. 15.
That's way better than
Donovich looks... Yeah, 15's good. Donovich looks... Ireena, Ismark both looking at him expectantly. How could I say no?
Perfect.
Rill, at this point, sort of speaks and goes, I would also like to see these nighttime rituals. I was not aware that priests of the sun worked after dark. This is new to me as well. Oh, you are a follower of Lysander? No, not of Lysander. But I would still like to see what you do and how you do it. If that is not a problem, Father, you already have the company of this Luther. Oh, well, again, how could I say no? Please come with me. Luther, Rill, if you could help carry the body. Ismark, Ireena, with me. I will take you around to the back of the chapel. Quickly now, quick. We don't want to be too late.
I'm going to let Donovich trail off a little bit so he's out of earshot. I'm going to quickly pull, like, Jonor. I'm going to sort of, as I pass, like, the party, I'll go, look, this is a bit suspicious. While I'm outside with him, have a look around.
Yeah, that was 100% the plan, Luther.
I figured out as much, but, yeah.
I also want to make one note during this time. So we didn't recognize the race of Rill. I had that demonology book which could be in from a different realm. Is there anything that mentions his race?
Yeah, can you make me an Arcana check, please, Jonor, as you flick through this book on demonology? 17. You flick through. Rill doesn't really match any of the descriptions of any of the demons that you can see there. For a moment, you think, maybe he could be somewhere from the plane of, I think it's one of the Nine Hells, Ilmatar, which is the area of frost and ice. But as you think about it, it doesn't quite fit. Nah, you're not sure. No, as you finish sort of going through the book and checking it one more time, checking it twice, you just don't get the sense that Rill is a demon. There's no links there that tie him to it. Rill seems to be something else. Again, as you look at him, he seems to be almost a little bit aquatic adapted. The nose actually can close. These two slits can actually shut independently. As he breathes, you watch as they open and then close. The ears, again, same, can open and close at will. The eyes actually have a double eyelid. Yeah, he seems to be somewhat aquatic. And actually, yeah, as you watch as his hands go to pick up the makeshift litter to help pick up the body, there's actually very faint webbing between his fingers. Not massive webbing, not as much as a triton, but there is very faint extension of the skin between his fingers to help with swimming.
Cool.
As Rill picks up the litter with Luther and looks back at you lot. Well, if we are to be spending the night together in the chapel, I would very much like to hear about the Feywilds that you hail from, and I can tell you stories of Waterdeep as well, and give you some warnings that my previous party chose to ignore.
Yeah, this sounds good, Rill. We will talk to you as soon as you're back from the ceremony.
Yes, should be very interesting. I've never heard of a sun priest performing dark rituals. As he gives a bit of a chuckle.
And so who was heading outside the back?
So Rill, Luther, Donovich, Ismark, and Ireena are all heading outside, leaving Grinner, Theodore, and Jonor alone in the chapel, with Tithla just out the front. As the rest of these guys pass you by Tithla, Ireena looks over at you and goes, "Oh, Tithla, perhaps you would like to head inside? It is cold out here, and we will be outside performing the ceremony on my father. We can keep watch from just around the side of the chapel if you wanted to keep your friends company inside.
Are you sure that your human eyes are sufficient?
That is a good. That is a good point. I have quite a keen eye. I am quite a good marksman with a bow and arrow.
Great. I was hoping you were going to say yes. Awesome. It's cold. Thanks.
Head back inside. While you've been out there by yourself, mist has begun to rise from along the ground and around the pathway, very reminiscent of the mist that you saw in the village of Dowerbridge. Not as thick, and it's not as aggressive in how quickly it rises, but there is a very thin layer of mist pushing across the ground, tendrils reaching out and moving. This sense of unease. These three, Ireena, Donovich, and Ismark, the natives to Barovia, seem to be unfazed by this mist, but you watch as Rill takes a bit of a step, and as he looks down at the mist, he seems very uncomfortable for a second as he steps into it. And then you watch as he breathes in, steels himself, and then continues walking forwards.
Hi, I don't think we've met.
Yes, greetings. I am Rill.
Rill?
Rill. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, Tithla, not like that Vistani we met.
That was Rel. Come on, I'm not an idiot. That's very different.
No, my apologies then, Tithla. Continue.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you, Rel. It's not true what they said before about you being kind of fish-like. I think you look great.
It is not an insult to say that I am fish-like. My people are adapted for an aquatic space.
Well, that's lucky, because you do look fish-like, so
yes,
I just didn't want to offend you.
I look like a healthy member of the Vedalken. Yes, I look like much of my kind. And you seem to be a very eruditious goblin.
Yeah, I do breathe lots of air.
Eruditious, well-spoken.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty good with them words and stuff. My mum and dad taught me good. My mum and dad weren't a goblin. Okay. See, what happened was... Wait, you were going to go and do stuff. I don't think you probably have time for this story right now,
but we will be back later, and I would like to hear more about you, Tithla. You are unlike most other goblins I have met. Your skin is a beautiful shade of green.
Well, thank you. Like you, are a healthy fish. I am a healthy goblin.
Indeed. Yes, most goblins I have met in and around the Forgotten Realms were bloodthirsty lot who tried to shiv me and steal my kidneys.
I'd never do that.
I might take your spleen, though. No. Good. Well, yes, I see the body.
Enjoy your outside time.
He watches Rill shivers a little bit, looking down at the mists again, and then looks at the body and the mist around the body. For some reason, that seems to make him a bit uncomfortable, but you watch as he steels himself and picks up the body. Yes, yes, sure, I will enjoy my time outdoors.
Was the mist reacting to the body at all?
No.
Around the mist?
No, not at all. You're not there, but no.
No, yeah, it was just...
But no, it doesn't. Tithla, you don't notice that. Luther and Tithla, you don't notice the mist reacting to the bodies in the slightest.
As soon as those guys are out of the room, I'm just starting to full rummage around this church.
Oh, brilliant. I was hoping you might say that. As those guys go around the side, we'll do the insiders first, and then we'll do the outsiders second. Tithla, you head inside, and you can see Theodore, Grinner, and Jonor. I'm assuming all three of you are just loot rummage, pillage, plunder.
Big rummage.
Right.
What are you all doing? They've invited us into their home kindly. What are we doing?
Full of rummage, Tithla.
Oh, okay, cool.
So Jonor, you said you were doing a detect magic.
Yeah.
And the rest of you, if you're rummaging, investigation or perception checks, please.
I want to look specifically in the priest's room for any hidden chambers in his room.
Yeah, so you actually don't know which room is the priest's, Grinner. You know that the second door on the left as you enter in through the front. You know the second door on the left, that's where Rill stepped out of. And you did hear the priest refer to the guest room. So you suspect probably that's where the priest has been staying, but there are 3 other doors, another one on the left and 2 more on the right.
Well, which one's closest? Because I remember him saying that he was staying close to the front.
Well, there's 2 right by the front door, one on the left and one on the right, that literally, as you come in the front door, they're immediately on your left and right. There's 2 doors there.
If you take left, I'll take right, Grinner.
Done. Let's
Alrighty.
do that.
Grinner, we'll do you first. As you open the door swings open quite easily, and you see inside the room a bedroom, 10 foot by 5 foot. 10 foot by 15 foot. A bed, quite threadbare, just in the second position. It looks like the bed has not been slept in for some time, but the covers are rustled and messily and hastily positioned. No other furniture is in this room. It's actually quite bare, and there's a thin layer of dust along the floor, interrupted by some footprints leading to and from the bed.
Does the room smell like old person?
Does the
You know how
room
they
smell
get
like
that?
old person?
Yeah.
Can Grinner make me a perception or investigation check, please? And I'll tell you more about the room as you look in. Theodore, as you go to try the door on the right-hand side, door seems to be locked. Natural 20 for Grinner, 21. I'll do this first because it's 20.
Yeah, go for that, yeah.
And Haz, can I get you to move a little bit more in the center of your camera?
Oops, sorry, yeah, I'm having a big lean, aren't I?
I know. I watch as you disappear into Jared's face during. you just like lean in.
No,
and, like,
I look like I'm in screen on the video ninja, but
I have to.
then
Yeah, I
look at
have
the
to bring
screen,
you.
yeah.
I have to like cut it down a little bit because it's such a large webcam. But yeah, no. Sorry. Thank you.
Sorry.
Big head, mate.
Yeah, big head. That's it. Big head. No, as Grinner, as you look in, smell of old person a little bit. I know the smell you're referring to. It's kind of like Old Spice and baby powder, but faint, right?
Yeah, plus sadness.
Plus
The
sadness.
decay. If people
yeah.
could have mold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can smell the smell of old person from this room. But again, the bed looks like it's not really been looked after very well, and if it's been slept in, no one's bothered to pull back the covers or to make it afterwards. It's just messy, and the room hasn't been cleaned in some time. Theodore, yeah, as you try the door, it's locked. Did you say you were calling out to Tithla?
Tithla, do you know how to get through a lock?
I know how to get through a lock. Yep. It may not work too well after.
This is acceptable.
Ah, shit. Grinner, can you come break this lock in?
No, that is not. The Grinner is not a lockpick.
Oh, yeah, me either. I could try. I'll give it a go.
Grinner's more of a lock kick, just like kicks down the door.
Grinner's not a drop kick.
Does anyone have any tools or anything? Or
Yeah, I got both me feet.
okay. See, that's the most equipment we've. You know what? I'm gonna just. Can I just try with my knife? Is that gonna work at all? You know what? We're gonna give it a go. I'm gonna come in.
Yeah.
Comes in.
And actually, first, Tithla, what kind of lock is it? Can I try? Like, is it like
It's a big
deadbolt,
wooden
or
one.
is it one of those like, little like latches that just like that you can flick over with a?
As you
So
sort
they
of bend
can-
down and have a bit of a
they can do
look, as you have a bit of a look through the keyhole, because it is a a metal door handle and a lock with a keyhole.
Right.
As you try and peer through the keyhole to see if there's a latch on the other side, it's very hard to see, but as you peek through the keyhole, you can see the room beyond looks actually quite empty. It doesn't look to be anything in there. A bit of a peek through, can't see much through the keyhole.
Are there windows?
No windows at all. Not in the hallways here. Back in the main room where you are, Jonor, in the chapel antechamber where the pews are. Yeah, there's 2 sets of stained glass windows on the west and east walls, and then 2 on the north wall as well.
Can I wild shape myself into a bug?
Yes, of course you can.
Then I would like to wild shape myself into a bug.
Yep.
And shoot under the
You watch as Theodore completely disregards the laws of physics and exchange of mass, and just shrinks down to this tiny little bug.
Very dense fly.
Yep.
That doesn't
Yeah,
have a fly
if you collide with things too quickly, it can open a black hole. No, yeah, as you shrink down to a
under a
tiny
cockroach.
bug, tiny cockroach, you can just crawl under the door. There's enough of a gap that you just skitter under the door.
Under I go.
Yeah, Theodore, you under the door. As you emerge into the room beyond, you're looking with the senses of a cockroach. So the world is huge. There's debris over this room the size of mountains in front of you. Probably just some small shattered stones or bits of rubble, but from your tiny cockroach perspective, these are huge, massive boulders and sections of debris. And over in the far corner, hidden as if like out of your depth of field, you can see this massive wooden structure rising high into the air off the ground, wrapped in these massive coils of iron. There's a trapdoor in the back corner with a little chain on it.
A trapdoor?
Nice.
Is the trapdoor open?
Trapdoor. No, it looks like it's held down with chains, but it's quite a large, heavy wooden door on top of the trapdoor. So your cockroach senses it's quite high up. It's like 4 or 5 of your full extended body up.
So
up in
it
the
looks
air.
like it's a trapdoor to keep something in rather than.
Yeah, the chains on the outside as if keeping the trapdoor closed, so the trapdoor cannot be opened into this room.
All right, I scurry back. I'm going to stay in cockroach form for the time being.
You scurry back under the door. You guys watch as a tiny cockroach scurries back under the door.
Oh, Grinner's seeing that's just going to tread on it.
Cockroach.
No.
Because you did watch him go shrink down to this cockroach. While that's going on, Jonor, you were doing detect magic. Let's do with you first. As you begin looking around the room, Jonor, you first start examining the altar, moving around, looking at the pews. No real magic. In fact, this place seems to be quite devoid of any real magic, divine or otherwise. And if anything, this place seems to be quite dead. You've been in churches before. Oh, sorry, you go. Yeah,
are there symbols which typically would have magic on it? So the inscriptions or the runes that typically have magic, are there ones there that don't have magic?
No runes around here, no magical runes carved like a wizard's tower. There are depictions of Lysander, goddess of the sun, a sunrise in relief on the back wall behind the altar, but no magic emanating from it at all. In fact, Jonor, you've been into some of the places of worship in Nostea. There's almost always a sense of divine magic around the place. Not strong as if a spell has been cast or focalized. What's the word? As it's like channeled into a single point like a spell, but there is a sense of divine energy in most of the holy places or chapels that you've been in on Nostea, but this one, there's nothing here. This place is empty, like a birdhouse that's been abandoned by its residents. The god has flitted off to another place. Terrible analogy, but I'm sticking with it.
There's nothing here at all. That's a bit unusual. He sort of just mutters out loud to himself. He then walks down towards these rooms and glances to the room Grinner was looking in that had just the bed.
Yeah, as you look in again, Jonor, no magic here at all. In fact, to your sort of heavily enhanced, magically attuned vision, this again seems very, very dead. No sense of divine magic or any other here. You can see there is transmutation magic emanating from a cockroach on the floor.
Yeah, I wouldn't have seen that. There's a magic cockroach. What? Can you guys see this? And I point down.
I cockroach wave up at you.
He can understand us. It's Theodore. Oh, okay, yeah. Theodore, is that you?
Cockroach.
I was waiting for the noise.
I'm sorry. Hang on a minute. Did you just do a Pokemon and say cockroach as if that's the noise you make?
Yes.
Cockroach. The cockroach makes no noise, as cockroaches have neither vocal cords nor mandibles loud enough and large enough to make a clicking noise. The cockroach just goes, flutters its wings.
They just make awful, like, fluttering noises.
It just flutters its wings like a...
Yeah.
Hang on, I should be able to...
So,
no, I can't
Do
do it.
cockroaches have wings?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
They can fly.
Yeah. Nope, they've always had. Is that new? Yeah. It's cockroach version 3.0. They've been updated recently.
That is
300
so
million
gross.
years or so, they got a patch update.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I already didn't like it. That's great.
I'll let you know right now, Jacob, because this is gonna blow your fucking mind. All insects, every single insect, has wings, either vestigial or functional.
See, Owen, you know how I can disagree with that?
Yep.
It's just gross.
Okay.
And
But it is a fact,
can't
though.
be that gross. It's just not right.
Yep,
Not
but
okay.
that is true. There's very, very few exceptions to that, and they still have in their genetic code wings coded. They're just not expressed genetically.
Oh.
Fun fact.
That's not fun.
I know, but it lives rent free in your brain now forever. So enjoy. Why is there no cockroach Pokemon? Good question. Don't know, man.
The detect magic, is it something that I can see? So can I poke my eyes through keyholes?
Yeah, you could look up 3 keyholes. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Jonor, no magic here at all. And I'm going to tell you rent free as Tithla opens up the 2 other doors on either side here, which are unlocked, and you have a bit of a peek through. You see another bedroom where Rill had been staying, and then a study on the right-hand side that looks to be the priest's study. No magic in either of these locations at all. Nothing is shining up to your detect magic.
Okay. And then I'm going to poke my head outside to see if there's mist just nearby. Go to where those people left, check the mist, and if they're within my 30 feet, see if there's anything magic going on there.
Yeah, as you have a bit of a peek outside the door, Jonor, have a bit of a look down the way, you can see that it looks like the others have gathered around the side of the manor and are busy working away. It looks like they're in the process of performing some sort of ritual, which you don't recognize. You can see that there is a little bit of magic coming from Luther and Rill, but Donovich, who seems to be leading this ritual, there's no magic coming from him at all.
Magic from me.
Because I'm assuming that there's a next little bit coming up, and I've made an assumption about what Luther would be doing. But if that's wrong, I'll retcon it. But there's
no, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm excited to see what you come up with.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine you not actually doing this, so I figured I'd put you back.
Cool.
All right, just a heads up, everybody. Raph has lost power. It looks like his entire street's out of power. I know that a lot of Brisbane's been doing updates recently. I lost power during a stream not too long ago, so I'll take over for Grinner in the meantime and pray that I also don't lose power. For the other Queenslanders who are here as well, cross your fingers, cross your toes.
Old Vic here, eh?
Yeah.
Dream.
It'll be back on. I know mine didn't. I don't know when mine came back on during the last stream when it dropped out, but I think it was only out for an hour or 2. So hopefully.
Do you live you said you live fairly close to Raph, right?
Yeah, he's only like. Oh no, he's in a new spot now. He was only a suburb away, but he's moved since then.
Ah, okay. Hopefully it'll be fun.
Alrighty.
No magic here, guys.
As you finish up, Jonor, I'm going to jump over to Luther and, just Luther, really. You're the only one there. Donovich leads you, Ireena, Ismark, and Rill around the side where there is a small outdoor area that's been marked with paving stones and with a border. Clearly, it's meant to be where the morning sun, the eastern sun, rises and casts its first light down upon this place. It's clearly meant to be where that happens, but the sun has now set, and only the moonlight shines upon this space. As Donovich steps back and begins pulling out a prayer book, Ireena and Ismark take a stand on either side of their father's body, who is lying down in front of Donovich. Donovich pulls out his prayer book and begins flicking through. As he sort of does so and looks a little bit nervous, Rill turns towards you, Luther, and goes, "You do not have the look of a priest or a cleric, but they said you are a follower of Lysander."
Yeah, look, I'm I don't really give that look, hey. But no, I've been following Lysander for a few good years now. So yeah, when I needed it most, she gave me guidance. So
it is funny, we have a sun god in my place called Lysander. I wonder, the echoes throughout the multiverse sometimes are very similar, no?
Oh, who knows? The gods themselves, maybe they have many different visages in different planes of existence. Maybe that's just another form of my Lysander, and vice versa, your Lythander. Like very quite a very similar. She doesn't really. Maybe this particular god isn't particularly creative per se when creating new names, but
Well, Luther, you know that all the gods of Nostea are from Nostea. They were primordial beings who ascended to godhood when the people started believing in them, when they started believing that they were gods. That's how they became powerful, and they provided power to their followers, and as their faith grew, so did their powers grow, and they only became gods after people started believing in them as gods. They were primordials before that. So yeah, gods on Nostea, gods and goddesses on Nostea are a little bit different to how they work elsewhere, but
okay, gotcha.
yeah, as Real sort of like ponders that, he goes, well, I am a cleric. I've worked for some time in the priesthood. And this Donovich, does it not strike you that he is a bit, how do you say, useless?
Yeah, look, like you noticed before, in the sort of our faith, we always do things in the morning. It is pretty strict. So for him to even be out here right now, like, that just boggles my mind.
I must confess I do not know many of the tenets of Lythander. I follow a different god's teachings, but this thing he spoke about, to me it sounded somewhat reasonable, performing a protection ritual before the morning sun, and then the morning sun will bless when it comes. But you seem surprised about this. Is that not how things work with your god Lysander?
So, this is out of game.
No. In out of game? No, you've never heard of this before.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What would the common practice be? Like, inter the body inside, maybe
just
do some,
wait until the sun. Like, it's only one night. Like, I mean, you've never heard of priests of Lysander doing anything after dark. It's that is weird. It may be that that's how things work in Barovia, but for your experience and for what you know, this whole thing is a bit odd and a little bit off.
Is he following Lysander or Lythander? Is he following the Nostean god?
You don't know. He didn't. You actually don't know. That's a question that you guys don't know the answer to. You spoke about the. Yeah, you're a cockroach. Yeah, you really don't know. You're so far out of the sun's light right now as a cockroach that.
No, that's a super good question. Though. Like, I'm not gonna. Because like
no,
me, like knowing this question.
But
is,
we,
like,
I don't know. We one of the elements of being a collaborative group is that you guys occasionally have ideas that you share as players.
Oh no, it's great. It's great.
And I think that would occur to Luther after a little bit. Maybe not straight away, but I think Luther would think of that because now that, especially in the context of Lysander versus Lythander, yeah, like that might occur to you. Maybe not right away, but I think Luther would think of that definitely.
I'm going to, as he's like muttering whatever he's doing, I'm going to quickly.
You're just obviously flicking through a prayer book.
Yeah, I'm going to. I imagine this to be like almost like a pretty normal thing for like any followers to do of Lysander. I'm basically going to be like. I'm going to say, praise Lysander, shall she be praised? And I'm going to see how he sort of, if he returns it. So we'll jump back in, but so as I watch him like flicking through his book.
You go.
I was going to say, I'm sort of like looking at Donovich. Praise Lysander, goddess of the sun. May her light shine down upon us.
Yes. Praise the morning lord. Yes. As he keeps flicking through.
Yes, Lysander the morning lord.
Donovich seems not too fussed as he keeps flicking through, almost like he hasn't really paid attention to what you were saying.
And yes, praise Lythander.
Yes, praise Lythander. Yes, praise Lysander. Yes.
What? I just threw out two different words.
Real notices that too and looks at you and goes, did he just say both? What? Do we take over at this point? Does he even know who he serves? Like, I know many rituals to inter the dead. I spent a lot of my younger days as an acolyte working for funeral services and funeral rites, performing funeral rites on people who had sadly lost loved ones. I know several. Yeah. Do you know much of?
I've assisted. I've never been like the actual like proper like conducting priest, but I've assisted in a lot. So,
should we step in? This is embarrassing. Like these two people, these children, are just standing here watching this fool just make a whole mess of this. This is their father. I feel I cannot stand and just watch this happen.
So, how do you think we should approach this?
Father Donovich, Rill just literally looks up and starts speaking. Oh, yes, Rill. Would you like some assistance? I have many years of experience working in the internment and passing through funeral rites of the lords and ladies and noble families of Waterdeep. I am sure that those ceremonies would do for such a fine and noble gentleman such as this burgomaster here. Ismark and Ireena sort of look up a little bit surprised and look back towards Rill. Ireena looks a little bit sort of doubtful, but Ismark sort of seeing Rill offer to step in for Donovich goes, I have no complaints. Please, if you know a ceremony of your people that is appropriate for our father, please, I would have you perform it. But our father followed the sun gods.
It's all right. I'm here. I'll be more than happy to assist and make sure that your father receives the proper blessings of Lysander, goddess of the sun. As I'm looking at Donovich.
No complaints here, please. Step up.
Please, my father, please have a seat and help us assist as you can as well. You just seem very flustered at the moment. I don't want to put you out. Like, I want you to just relax. And
I'll kneel down and say a prayer, shall I? And Donovich kneels down next to the body, bows his head, and begins muttering under his breath. Yes, quite.
I'm sort of like as I'm like doing this, I'm like looking at Rill. Rill's probably looking at me, and we're like probably like looking at each other like with almost like what the fuck, like.
Yep. Yeah, Rill doesn't have any eyebrows. He actually has no body hair at all. So you can just see the fleshy like protuberance of his eye socket rise up as one rises up, and this sort of like wrinkle appears on his forehead as he looks at you with one eyebrow cocked.
The priest just caught these guys walk up and say, "Nah, we'll do it, hey?" And he's like, "Yep, no worries, sweet, day off."
Yeah, he has. Looks like Donovich did just step aside quite quickly. Luther, could you please make me a religion check, please, as you and Rill is going to perform a very basic, no specific funeral rites style interment, but you're going to provide the specificity that brings it Lysander's touch.
Okay.
So, with the two of you working together...
I don't really have a lot of proficiency, so it's only +1. Oh my god.
Natural 20 for 21. This explains why you saw it in magic coming off Luther and Rill. Hey, I don't even have to retcon it. How well did that work out? Holy shit. It's almost like I can see the future. So as you peek around Jonor and you see Luther. Yep. What was that, sorry?
That seeing the future?
Yeah. Yeah, that's you. That's you. That's you. Yeah, Divination Wizard. Yeah, Luther, even though you are in the dark, it is nighttime. The light shining from the moon is just the reflected sunlight. It's not the true light of Lysander. And you don't even really know where you are. I mean, you've been told you're in this realm, this domain called Barovia, this demiplane, but that really doesn't mean that much to you. You've only really known your own home plane of Nostea. You've never really felt further from Lysander's light as you do now. But that distance almost creates the need within you that helps bridge that gap. And as you begin speaking with Rill, both of you, Rill performing sort of a basic funeral rites and you providing the contextual information for Lysander. Can I just say, we've had a lot of natural 20s tonight, by the way.
Had a lot of natural ones too.
You had a lot of natural ones too. As you begin performing this, Luthor, you don't notice this, but Ismark and Ireena and Rill and probably Donovich do as well, and as just Jonor, who's doing the detect magic. You guys watch as Luther's eyes very slightly and subtly begin glowing with a very faint white golden glow, shining from just behind the dark glasses that he always wears pushed up against his eyes. So there's this very faint glow coming from behind the dark glasses. And as you move your hands, begin trailing through there, this very faint afterimage of light begins just moving behind them. But Luther, you're so caught up in this religious ceremony, you don't even notice. You also don't notice when your language switches from common to celestial as you continue the blessing. Rill, a little bit surprised, switches to celestial as well and joins you in this. And Ismark and Ireena sort of look on a little bit surprised. The light from the moon, this pale white light, suddenly this one spot seems a little bit brighter, a little bit more warm, a little bit more golden. And as you complete the ritual, the 2 coins on the eyes of the body of the Burgomaster shift and slowly change from silver to this beautiful burnished gold. Rays of metal pulling out into the shape of suns as they twist and change from coins into little discs of this sort of representative of the solar energy, the sun's energy. Ismark, Ireena, and Donovich all sort of look at you, mouths slightly agape. Rill, not being able to do that because that would require him to probably immerse himself in water quickly afterwards, sort of looks at you again, one eyebrow raised. Donovich finishes his prayer, stands up, and awkwardly begins shuffling away around the other side of the chapel. Rill looks towards you. I thought you said you were not a priest. That was a pretty potent blessing.
I'm not sure what you mean per se. I've carried this out many times, but nothing. But yeah, that's just normal.
Playing it cool.
I'm not aware that it happened. So.
No. You've got no awareness that this happened at all. Ismark looks towards you. Wow, Luther. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I sort of like tip my hat.
That was beautiful.
Oh, I don't normally get beautiful when I do this stuff. This is okay.
As you look over towards Ireena, you just see this single tear rolling down her face. She reaches up and wipes it away. She nods and just whispers,
"Okay,
thank you.
Yeah.
We'd like some time alone with our father, if that is okay."
No, by all means, please take your time. Let us know if you need anything, and we'll come and help with whatever you need. But by all means, take some time. I sort of look at Rill quickly, and I sort of gesture to follow me around back.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will follow. Ireena, Ismark, see you soon. As you just sort of like, Rill seems a bit awkward in this moment as you kind of just like drag him around. As you begin following around, you can see Donovich is actually heading out towards the graveyard. It looks like he's heading around the pathway towards the back.
I sort of, Rill, I think let's just proceed with some stealth right now. Let's just see what Donovan does. And I look at him and like, also, I don't normally get beautiful or anything like that when I do religious. Normally, it's just like thank you so much. That was weird. That was a single tear. Like, what did what I did? Like, that was just normal.
You performed a very lovely service. You spoke in the language of the gods in Celestial, and you even did some transmutation magic, transforming the coins into discs of sun.
No, that can't be me. I don't know magic. I don't use magic.
It wasn't me. Perhaps your goddess Lysander was working through you then.
Something clicks for them because I know obviously my backstory. Okay, yeah, that could have been it.
Well, it is fortunate to be favored by the gods in such a way. I have not met too many others.
Favored per se. There's a bit more to it. Anyway, let's go have a quick look at Donovich. I want to see what he's up to.
I should warn you, I'm not the best at sneaking. Perhaps if I stayed at the back.
Okay, you stay here for now. Just maybe stay within earshot of these two over here, just to give them some support, and be also near, at least close to me. So if I have any issues, come running.
Indeed, I shall do so. Brilliant. Luther, can I have a stealth check from you, please?
Okay. 23.
23. Luther, you begin padding very silently as you follow around the side of the chapel. Rill hanging back within eyeshot of you and within eyeshot of Ismark and Ireena, but around the corner so he's not intruding on their moment alone with their father. You watch Luther as Donovich begins walking around towards an area of garden and it pulls out a small scythe and cuts away at some bunches of leaves, gathering them up in a pouch, these sort of dark, very dark greenish grey leaves, and then begins heading back towards the pathway. As he walks around the side, you're sort of crouched down, using the shadows to your advantage, and he walks right by you without seeing you. As he walks up past Rill, he gives Rill a nod. I'm just going to make some tea. Would you care for some? Ah, yes. I probably could do for a nice cup of tea. Something herbal? Yes, something herbal. Yes. Ah, yes. Well, I'll be out here for a moment longer, but please, we'll meet you inside. Donovich.
Can I do a quick insight check on Donovich?
Yeah, absolutely.
Damn, my insight checks are not good.
9.
No,
yeah, dude looks like he went,
Right.
picked some leaves, and then came back and offered to make tea.
I will do something though. I'm going to go over and just collect a sample of what he did get.
Yeah, Luther, as you pad over towards the garden, you can see there's a number of different plants here. The garden itself is actually quite well maintained. Looking at the garden, could I have you make me a quick investigation check to see if you can figure out which leaves he picked? Investigation or nature, your choice.
Okay.
Because you're either looking for the cut stems or trying to identify the plants.
I'm either like rolling really well or horribly
really badly, yeah. 6.
You know what? I'm going to use my inspiration for this because I have a hunch that he might make tea for. I don't know. It could be
No.
something really like
innocuous.
It could be nothing, but it could be really.
Maybe the DM just needed to move Donovich.
That's better.
16. Yeah, you don't really know much about the plants. As you have a look over them, you're like, oh, fuck, I should have brought Tithla. But as you focus and go, wow, this one looks like it's cut the soonest, and you can see that some of the stems have been sliced. You pick a few leaves, and you go, yeah, it's probably this one. You can see that the leaves kind of look a little bit similar, and they've been plucked, they've been cut off the bush. It's a very small, very dark greeny grey bush, very tightly packed leaves. They're sort of roughly about half a finger width long. Half a finger length long and about 2 finger widths in length. These sort of quite broad leaves that are very dark greeny grey. As you pluck a few and sniff them, they smell a little bit almost a little bit sweet to your nose, but there's almost like a faint kind of sharpness to them as well, sort of a sweet and sharp nose as you sniff them in. Pluck what, 2 or 3?
Yeah, I'm going to pluck some just for a sample. Like, look, it could be nothing, and I could have just wasted my inspiration. But I'm going to like follow back, collect up Rill, and maybe say to Rill if he wants. Like, so I'll probably come back to Rill, but look, I'm going to head back inside. By all means, it's up to you if you want to come back inside, or you can stay within sort of distance of these guys here and just help them out. It's up to you. I'll leave you to your own devices.
I would not want to intrude on the mourning of their father. These 2 children are doing. I wouldn't mind a cup of tea. It is quite chilly out here. I'm used to slightly warmer temperatures in my homeland.
I wouldn't have the tea straight away. I just want to quickly find out something first, just in case.
Oh, very well.
I'm going to pass him pretty briskly and sort of try and get back to the church with decent haste.
Jonor, Grinner, and Theodore. We're going to jump over to you guys again. While this has been going on, you guys have opened up all the doors except the locked door that Theodore ran underneath as a cockroach. While this has been going on, you guys have probably had about 10 minutes. What have you been doing in that time? Let's start with Jonor.
He was peeking outside to see if there's anything magical going on.
You saw it, yeah. There was.
Yeah.
Celestial. Very much celestial magic. Not strong, not like watching a priest cast a spell or watching a cleric or a paladin using their powers, but yeah, definitely this faint celestial energy moving through Luther as if Luther was a conduit for it, and then from Rill, he was casting the spell Ceremony and performing. You recognize the magic from the spell. I would say that it's a pretty standard spell that you would know. You watch as he casts the spell Ceremony and performs funeral rites using the spell Ceremony.
That'd have been the most intriguing thing, seeing that actually playing out quite well. And a Celestial that gets his attention, he would have watched it.
Yeah. So yeah, Jonor, you're actually outside then as you watch this happen from around the corner. While that's going on, you then see Donovich heading back towards the church, clutching a pouch of leaves. Grinner, what would you be? Oh no, Raph's not here. I'll deal with Raph. Theodore and Tithla, what would the two of you be doing while this is going on?
Yeah, I mean, I went under as a cockroach.
Yep.
Saw that door. We found his study, correct?
Yeah, you opened up one of the doors, the door just above the locked room, just before the chapel, and yeah, as you look in, you can see that it is a study, a small desk with a very, very worn-looking chair, very simple chair, and then a wardrobe up against the back wall, filled with what you can see to be religious vestments, and then some ordinary clothes, a tunic, some pants and boots.
Anything open on the desk? I'm kind of looking to see if he was, writing anything down, a journal or like.
Yeah, few pieces of paper.
Like that.
Few pieces of paper are just on the desk, out on the desk next to an ink pot and a quill resting on its side. And as you have a bit of a peek at them, Theodore, you can see that one of them looks to be a sermon preaching about, despite the dark times and despite the sense of hopelessness, it is in the darkness that we appreciate the light the most.
Okay. And the other documents, anything of interest in those? Or more of the same?
Can you make me an investigation or perception check, Theodore, as you have a bit of a look over the rest of the documents? 21. A lot of 21s tonight. A lot of 21s.
Lucky.
Yeah,
lucky number 21. As you have a bit of a look over, Theodore, you can see that a lot of it seems to be more of the same. Half-written sermons, ideas that he seems to have crossed out, even quite a ripped-up piece of paper discussing that it's all a test from Lythander, and if they can just hold on long enough, then the dawn will come. And then it looks like he's actually torn this up and cast it aside or crossed out sections of it and actually abandoned this entire purpose. Right at the very bottom, as you go through the rest of these sermon notes, is quite a crumpled, rough piece of paper. And it's actually not written in the same handwriting as the rest of these sermons. This one looks to have been written by a much messier, far less practiced writer than the priest. And you can see it's actually signed Doru. D-O-R-U. Doru. And it says... Oh, sorry.
No. Continue, please.
It says, Father, I can no longer live under your rule. I can no longer live following your rules. You cling to an old belief that does not suit nor bring comfort and fits like a bad cloak. I chafe. I itch. I leave. Doru.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be a follow-up question. Was there a letter from the son? Seems like they're
yeah, I mean, you don't know the son's name, but yeah, I mean, as you read through it, it's literally entitled Father. You're like, yeah probably him. Hello, Father.
So his son did leave. Okay. Interesting. All right, well then, I'm a cockroach. That probably took me at least 10 minutes to scuttle around. And
I forgot you're still a cockroach.
Walk
God.
Letter to letter.
That takes you so much longer than as a cockroach, and to pull the letters off to look underneath them. That's actually going to be really difficult. I forgot you were still a cockroach.
No, but by the time I got to the desk and there was reading to do, I probably would have swapped back.
Okay, thank you. Theodore, much easier, much quicker as you transform back into your satyr form, begin flicking through the papers. Tithla, what would you be doing while Theodore looks through these notes?
Theodore, where'd you go? You're super gross and little, and I can't see you. Where are you?
I'm in here, Tithla. What are you?
30 seconds later, Theodore transforms back.
I can't hear you. You're a cockroach. Are you talking to?
Cockroach.
Oh, you're over at the desk. Okay. You're over. I can see you climbing up. You can see. Is that some paper? Is that so? Oh, you're back. Hey, can you come and open this door?
Which door?
I'm wondering if it
door that
should
I
be a
can't get
sanity
through.
check to watch Theodore transform to and from a cockroach. I'm just weighing it up in my mind whether or not that's a sanity check to watch that occur, because that's not going to be pretty. That's not going to be nice to watch.
It's just animal.
That's even
Yeah.
worse. That's so much worse.
So much better.
Nah, look, I won't this
As long
one.
as there's
Carry
no
on.
ladders exploding, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Can you get the door? Then I can help. Otherwise, I'm just sort of sitting out here in a.
Oh, that door's open. That door's unlocked and open, Tithla. To the
Oh,
study.
well, why didn't anyone tell me this door was open? What door was I trying to open?
The one below this one.
Oh, I'll try and open that door then.
Okay, would you like to make a sleight of hand check?
The trapdoor.
The trapdoor. Would you like to make
I have already been in there. Do not worry. I know what is in that door.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go and sit at the altar and poke stuff.
Yes, this is good.
Okay,
Is there anything
Tithla.
at the altar?
Yeah, on the altar you can see there is a well-woven cloth marked with the symbol of the sun, the full blazing sun. There's a silver effigy of the sun as well. Again, the central disc with waves of radiant energy coming out from it, all embossed in
Get
silver.
that out of here as well.
Yep. A few what look to be bottles of wine, or maybe some sort of spirits, along with some cups as well. You suspect that probably some sort of sacrament, maybe a toast to the sun is performed as well. And you can also see as well, Tithla, there are what look to be tiny lenses. So small discs of glass set in brass or bronze to give it this sort of gold-like effect. You suspect that probably normally they're meant to be set in gold. And they almost look like very small magnifying glasses, these discs of glass. And as you hold it up and have a bit of a look through, it looks like light kind of comes to a point, like a magnifying glass. And as you hold it over, you can see that if you focus the light from the torches, you can create a single point of light using this. It looks to be some sort of convergent lens.
And can I then look through it and things look bigger?
Yes, exactly right.
Oh, and that's what she's doing. She's going around trying to see if things look bigger and smaller, and if there's anything that she couldn't read or look at properly, and she now can, and then she's going to pocket it.
Yeah, chuck it in your pocket. There's about 4 or 5 there, so you can take one, chuck it in your pocket. Yeah, you can add a magnifying glass to your inventory. It literally is just a magnifying glass without the handle, a little bit smaller. Brilliant. As you're doing that, Tithla, as you're doing that, Jonor Donovich walks up next to you. Oh, sorry. Would you like some tea, son?
Oh, yeah, some tea may be okay. That sounds great.
I'm just going to put a pot on. Excuse me. He walks past you and begins heading inside. As he opens the door, he sees Grinner standing there. Grinner having closed the doors again after not really seeing much of anything interest in there. Grinner sort of sees him walk in and goes, "Oh, hello, father," very loudly, and steps in the way. "What, you finished your ritual already?" Again, very loudly, as if trying to indicate something to you, Theodore. Oh, sorry. Excuse me, I just was going to make some tea. Would you like some tea? No, I don't drink tea. Oh, I might have something a little bit stronger if you'd like that. Grinner puts a hand on his shoulder and turns him around so he's facing the other way, looking back out the open door. Theodore?
Yeah,
Looks like the priest is facing the other way, yeah.
I take that opportunity to
Quick skedaddle and close the door. I won't have you make a stealth check because I quickly rolled for Grinner to see how persuasive he was using his intimidation, and it turns out Grinner's very persuasive when he's using intimidation, when he's using his when he's using his strength stat. You know what, Father? When I look out over this village and I think about all those people who you got to be helping, are you helping them enough, Father? You doing everything you can? Oh, I try my best, you know. It's just a lot of work, and I try my best. I try my very best. Yeah, I hope so. Come on, in you come, mate. Let's have a bit of a look and see what you got up that ladder of yours. Something a little bit stronger, eh? Oh yes, right away. I'll just get the kettle on. Good, yes, very good. As he pushes past Grinner and begins sort of shuffling into the room, heading up towards the back of the altar, he sees Tithla sort of hanging around near the altar looking... How suspicious are you looking, Tithla?
Oh, no fucks are given.
No fucks are given. You're just sitting there looking around.
Just looking at stuff. Zero care that anyone notices.
Oh, you must have been quite cold outside. Can I offer you some tea?
That's okay. Mum said I'm not really meant to have tea this late.
Yes. Yes. Probably wise. Yes. Was there anything else I could get you? Maybe some water.
Do you have anything that's written really small?
It's really small.
Yeah, like written really small words. Like it's hard to read with just your eyes.
I have a.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll find something.
I could.
That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry. I'll sort it out. Thank you very much for your hospitalities.
No need to mention it. You watch as Donovich walks to the back behind the altar and begins heating up a small kettle over a small stove at the very, very back.
I do want to see it. Would have 10 minutes passed since they cast Detect Magic?
I'd say we're probably at the very tail end of it. So as he walks past, you can quickly get a sense of any magic. What are you looking for?
Just if he's just holding something magical.
No, it doesn't look like he is, Jonor.
Fair enough. Yep.
No, sorry, buddy.
Cool.
Not every casting of Detect Magic yields crazy secrets. In this case, there's not a lot of magic items here. Sorry. As Luther catches up to you, Jonor, Grinner sort of walks up next to Theodore and goes, I don't think we should drink that fucking tea.
No, I'm not drinking anything this man has. I clue him in about the trapdoor. Like there's a room and there is a spooky trapdoor held down with chains, so not hidden. It is not to hide a cellar or something. It is to stop something from getting out. And look, I don't know what a priest would keep that needs not getting out, but it doesn't seem good.
Look, the creepy fuck's probably got a whole bunch of people stashed down there. I say we gank him and then open the door.
This is a good plan, but...
I reckon that's what Grinner would say. I've got to play the character, and that's how
I will go distract him. I'll play loud panpipes. You break the door, go open the trapdoor, see what is down there. Remember the code, shout, the priest is evil, let's kill him, and then I'll come to you. Let's not...
Wait, did somebody say something?
No, it's all good. It's,
Okay.
So I think me and Jonor will probably come in at this point.
Yeah, you come in at the same time. Yeah.
Because I've been sort of rushing behind the priest.
Yep. You see Grinner and Theodore looking at each other, and then as you guys walk in, Grinner goes, "Don't drink the fucking tea. I trust this prick."
Oh no, I didn't want to drink the tea anyway, my friend. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing Tithla. I have some of the herbs he's actually going to use. And look, let's be honest, I'm suspicious as hell. But did you guys find anything?
Yes, there's a spooky trapdoor in this room, a locked door, and then in the locked room there is a trapdoor that's held down with chains. So it's not a cellar; it is a prison in a church.
Would you like me to try and lockpick this? I have thieves tools.
Oh, by all means, I was going to use the patented Grinner method of door opening, but
this might be a bit quieter, my friend. I think this won't alert him per se.
I will go distract him. You open this, see if you can get into the trapdoor, and remember the code if you need me to turn to a bear and come charging.
Give this as well. I give him the herbs that I found.
Yep.
Give this to Tithla and let her have a quick look. See if she knows if there's anything with ill intent behind these.
I run those straight up to Tithla. I'll tell the herbs. Tithla, do you recognize these herbs?
Let me take a good old look at them. No, I don't think I do. They look like weeds, actually.
I was going to say, you can also roll a nature check if you had a higher...
Nope.
Okay. Tithla, yeah, it looks like some sort of leaf.
I think that one is the flower, probably, and those ones are more leaves from the plant. So the flower has smells and is pretty.
Okay, so you do not know what it is?
No, I don't know at all.
All right.
But I wanted to sound like I did. I feel like there are too many times with the group that I just feel like I don't know anything, and I really
No, Tithla, you know. Remember the time you had all the medicine knowledge? You were very helpful. Head down. Tell Luther about the herbs. I will go discuss with the priest.
Okay, I'll go. Thanks.
I go, chat to the priest. Hello, Father Donovich?
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry, you startled me there.
Oh no! Don't turn around. Please continue making your tea. I'll stop here. I just want to ask you about the tea you're making. What kind of tea is it? A herbal infusion?
Yes, it's valerian leaf, and I have some valerian root here as well. Helps calm my nerves.
Why are you so tense to need nerve calming herbs?
He turns around and looks at the destroyed pews and ransacked chapel behind.
Would I know anything about valerian leaves and herbs?
Can you make me a nature or medicine check? Yeah.
Let me know when to open the door as well, or try to. I'll let you guys go for now.
Natural 20!
Nice.
Theodore, you know that valerian roots, the leaves, you know that it's a crock of shit that the leaves do anything. You know that the root is a natural, it can be a little bit calming. There's some anecdotal evidence that cutting up valerian root and boiling it can be calming. But what he's got isn't valerian root or leaves. As you look at it, this is something else entirely. You recognize this plant. When you have had to do field medicine, let's say, maybe there was an injured stag that had really badly broken its leg and you needed to reset the bone. The stag wasn't going to let you do that while it was conscious, so you had to use a plant, a natural extract from a plant, to basically knock it out and anesthetize it so that you could reset the bone. You know that leaf very well. You've used it a few times. It's not exactly the same, but this looks very similar. Very, very similar.
Rupees. Okay.
Yeah, you get the sense this is herb hypnol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always find when I'm out in the woods making teas that some nice music is just as calming. So here, let me play with you some panpipes. And I start loudly playing some pipes.
The panpipes?
Yeah.
What sort of theme song are we going for? Okay, yeah, so just chaos, just like jazz, essentially, just riffing.
Yeah, pipe jazz.
Yeah, nice. Okay. The Cantina theme from Star Wars.
Original.
Nice. Yeah, no one's ever done that before. As you begin playing the pipes quite jauntily and quite loudly, the Grinner sort of looks up and goes, "Is that a signal? Is that a signal?"
I think that's a signal. Okay, because it's so loud, I probably don't have to be as quiet or as what's the word? I just have to be as quiet. I can sort of be a bit louder if I need to. So I don't have to I guess I don't know. Can I get advantage of this?
Just trying asking.
It's just a help action in a way.
Hey, I've got this whole idea
Stealth.
about a thing, and I'm going to give up on that. Can I have advantage?
The way I look at it though is because it's he's giving me the help action because it's so loud. I can use certain maneuvers and other I can force things a bit more than I normally could. Because we're always trying to be stealthy and quiet. This I can be a bit more direct.
Yes. In answer to your question, I was going to give you advantage anyway because the priest is making the tea. Theodore's in his face going. Whoop, 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 whoop. So
wow,
yeah.
I don't roll very well there.
13 and 7. 13 is enough to open the door.
Thank God.
Not particularly quiet, but as you
Thank God it's so loud.
click the lock over and open it, and also right in his face. Like if Theodore wasn't directly in front of him, playing the pipes into his ears as his priest is trying to make the tea, might have been a bit different. But yeah, actually, can I have a performance check from Theodore? I just want to see how good you're doing. I just want to see, not necessarily for sound, just to see how good a song this is. 16, not bad. Yeah, not bad at all. This is beautiful. This very upbeat, jaunty melody. Something about this just feels so out of place in this very somber, very sad location that's been a bit destroyed. The ambience of a chapel doesn't really lend itself to jaunty tavern folky songs, but if anything, that kind of makes it even more distracting as Donovich tries to focus on the tea, and as you're going whoop, 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 right in his face, he's just really, really out of touch. And Tithla's kind of there as well. The other thing as well is he doesn't have line of sight. The altar is in the way as well because he's bent down making the tea. So he doesn't actually have line of sight on you at all, Luther. As you open the door swings open and you can see the room beyond is actually partially destroyed. A trapdoor set into the southeastern floor, sorry, heavily chained down. There's a massive cast iron padlock holding this chain across the trapdoor.
I close the door again and I look at my companions and go, look, I'll be honest, I think we have a few questions for our priest, our friend.
Do we have a quick look there to see if we can look through the planks?
Let's give it a go. Why not? We'll enter back in the room real quick, have a quick look over at Donovich. And obviously the altar is in the way, but like just the sound emanating from there.
Yeah. As you step back in, Luther, Ismark and Ireena step back in. Ismark sees you walk into the room and immediately like nods. Ireena sort of looks at both of you, shakes her head, and looks pretty exasperated that you're breaking the priest's trust like this, but doesn't say
I
anything.
literally call them over real quick and point to the fact that like this is latched from this side and is keeping something obviously out.
Ismark just looks at Ireena and just like points at the trapdoor and looks at her with this like wide-eyed and just mouths like, I told you so. Ireena sort of looks at the trapdoor, looks up at Ismark, looks at the trapdoor, looks at you, Luther, looks back at the father, and looks a bit disappointed and nods, and then steps back out of the way so that she's actually blocking the view of the trapdoor and the view of the room.
Okay, cool. Jonor can come in too. Yeah, come in.
Yeah, I want to go into the room as well. So I'm looking for a gap in the trapdoor, and I grab a piece of my parchment, cast the light cantrip on it. It's all bright, and then just drop it down.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you, Jonor.
That's smart.
You grab a piece of parchment, cast light. There is definitely a gap in the boards, a gap in the wooden boards to drop the light down. You watch as the light begins sort of just floating as it captures the eddies and begins falling down into the hole beneath the trapdoor. As you both of you try and peek through these very small slits in the wood, try and see what's down there. Could I have both of you please roll me investigation checks or perception checks? Investigation or perception?
Okay, perception.
And I'm making it slightly easier because of the light. Yep, 21 Luther, very nice. 14 Jonor. Was that just then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, Jonor, you see this as well. Both of you see almost just this hint of movement that for a second you think, oh, it's just the paper as it falls, creating these shadows that move around. But then you hear this scuttling noise, and then a hand, this pale white hand, grabs the paper out of the gloom, scrunches it up, and then you hear from underneath the trapdoor, Father, I'm hungry. And that is where we're going to wrap up for tonight.
Oh,
Cool.
I hit something.
Somebody get this guy a protein bar.
Snickers even.
You're not you when you're hungry. It's a well-known fact. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everybody. I hope you've had a really fun time joining us for Curse of Strahd. I'm absolutely loving the Curse of Strahd module. You've probably noticed, anyone who's played through the campaign before, that I'm changing some things around. Yep, I am. I'm changing some things around to have some fun with it. I am. And there's going to be lots of changes as we head forward as well. So if you're familiar with it, there's going to be new things for you. If you're not familiar with Curse of Strahd, then hey, great news. It's Curse of Strahd. Don't worry about it. It's going to be great fun. Nothing to worry about here. But that's all from us tonight. We will be back for Tyranny of Dragons on Wednesday night, the last D&D campaign before Christmas. So if you're not joining us for Tyranny of Dragons, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. We'll see you in the new year. We will be back on I think it was the 16th, did I say? Is the next Monday back? The 16th of January will be the next session back of Curse of Strahd after Christmas. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody. If you're listening to this recorded or on YouTube or on the podcast, thank you so much. Drop us a like, drop us a comment. Tell me an RPG story. If you play Curse of Strahd, tell me a little bit about your character that you play Curse of Strahd with. One of your characters, because most people end up playing with 2 or 3 in Curse of Strahd. So tell me a little bit about one of your characters. Tell me a fun story from your campaign, and we'll read them out at the beginning of the next session. I love to do little campaign stories. We didn't have one tonight, unfortunately, but I do love to have little stories from the community. But yeah, look, drop us a like, drop us a subscribe if it's on YouTube. It really helps us out. We're trying to get to that YouTube partner. We're about halfway, so it really helps us out if you've enjoyed this. But that's all from me. Stay safe, stay well. We'll see you all again for Tyranny of Dragons on Wednesday, and then have a lovely, lovely Christmas and happy holiday to everybody. Goodbye, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Time.
Thanks, everyone.
Farewell. Bye.
Bye.